Hey guys, James here again. This is going to be What If Naruto ate the Ope-Ope no Mi. This is a redo of one of my most popular series, honestly. I'm pretty sure it's one of the videos that hit almost as hard as my Greatest Prodigy in History Naruto video. And it hit about that hard for like the first few months, and it kind of like went to like be an average video after that, but still it gained a lot of views really fast. So yeah. But basically in this one I'm gonna go over how the Ope-Ope no Mi come into existence. So with this, basically, we should go on to see, well, when Kaguya and Ishiki come to Earth, they bring him his miscellaneous Otsutsuki. He's not really important at all, actually. But they feed him to the chakra tree as they want to stay alive to marry each other and dominate Earth. Well, they don't feed him to the tree, they feed him to the Ten Tails. But then him being a very weak Otsutsuki, well, the tree does blossom, but the tree is still somewhat sentient and can still eat. And the fruit that it made isn't really too strong. It would just grant it a Kikagenkai. So that's all it would do. All the fruit would do would grant a Kikagenkai. This fruit is so small compared to chocolate fruit that they didn't even think it was fruit. They thought it was just some weird bud that wouldn't blossom. So they didn't even know what it was. But quickly they realized that it wouldn't really they realized that it wouldn't give them a chocolate fruit. So what Kagi did is he attacked Ishiki with her Ashling bone technique and cut his body in half with it. But people forget that Kaguya is weaker than Ishiki, but her Ashling bone technique is so overpowered that it doesn't matter, it kills everything it touches. So, yeah, this is like really it. I'm pretty sure that's how she got Ishiki, is that, one, he thought his wife wouldn't kill him, and two, her Ashling bone's overpowered as hell. So, yeah. Basically, after she cut Ishiki basically in half, she fed his decaying half to the Ten Tails as he escaped with his upper half. So that being fed, the Ten Tails is now not Ten Tails. The tree is now formed, and chocolate fruit is formed. So she eats the chocolate fruit. So as she ate the chocolate fruit, that's really just it. So as she ate the chocolate fruit, well, I guess she just ate it. I guess she just ate it. I guess all I can say about it. So I guess with that, we can just go on to Naruto. Well, not Naruto, but the person who ate the fruit. The person who ate the fruit happened to be a doctor in like the Warring States period. Happened to be a miscellaneous doctor from the Hashirama clan, not Hashirama, from the Senju clan, and he was actually like basically very close to Hashirama. Like he was like Hashirama's cousin. Now him and Hashirama trained constantly because him and Hashirama were actually the same age, and they compared in power when they were younger till Hashirama unlocked Wood Release. Like when Hashirama became like a teenager, I feel like 16, 17, that's when like this miscellaneous ninja began like declining in power compared to Hashirama. But the thing is, he was still really strong. He even made a technique that's derived of Earth Release, but then was able to mix in every single chakra nature into it and turn it into some indestructible substance, unless you hit it with a unless you hit it with what was it? Yeah, so unless you basically just what was it? Let's think of. So unless you hit it basically all five chakra natures at once. Actually, not all five. Actually, only thing that would work, yes, is a true sticking orb. Well, then it's basically just there. But with that, well, the technique is basically indestructible. No one could break it. Hashirama even struggled to even push him back when he was using this. But then he even developed a technique where you could basically just sense nature energy through nature, just naturally. But with him being able to sense it naturally, well, you didn't even need chakra to do it. You could basically just use the technique that he used to sense all five. Not all five. We use the all five nature technique, and they will sense out. Oh, this is where the nearest source of water is, so I can just use this. Or here's the earth is right under me. I don't need to sense that, but I can sense where it's most pent up, and I could use more earth that way. Basically, like sense the largest abundance of nature, and then well, that can just determine what he could use for a nature release. For fire, you can make that naturally, but by doing all this, actually able to find out how to sense this nature energy just naturally, I guess. And you can tell this observation on hockey being developed by him. And for Conquerors, it's just him emitting his like insane chakra presence, and it could basically kill. Like it crushes and destroys things around you if it's a lot weaker Like this is based on your mindset. This form of chakra, like basically just it's like a pure and strong mind. The thing is, it worked. It didn't work on Madara, despite Madara having the most negative mind possible. It worked on Madara to the fact that Madara he was just simply stronger. He was able to force his chakra back and this pressure, and it basically started pushing away this presence. Shama Tobirama weren't pure of mind, but they were still decently strong. Well, Tobirama wasn't pure of mind. He was actually averagely minded, but yeah. So yeah, pause. All right, so this man was this thing. Shinobi was actually able to exert chakra pressure, and well, it worked on literally everyone besides 4 people. Well, no, 4, just 3. But Tobirama, Hashirama, and Madara. Izan was actually affected by it. Tobirama was simply just smart enough to actually find a way to negate it. So yeah, this makes Shinobi is actually stronger than Tobirama and Izan, even if they were combined in power. But he could not take down Madara or no, yeah, he couldn't take down Madara or Hashirama single-handedly. So, but if you guys can tell with this like him developing hockey, it's a One Piece character with no effort. You have to like, think about it. It's a One Piece character making hockey. And specifically, Shinobi happened to be Trafalgar D. Law. That was his name. He took his wife's last name, and his wife wasn't a notable Shinobi. So yeah. But well, her name was Laru, but he chose Law. So, or he made it into Law, and she preferred that. So we should move on to Law. I guess when Konoha was founded. By the time Konoha was founded, he actually abandoned being a shinobi. Only time he became a shinobi was when Hashirama had defended Konoha. Now with this, Law was actually in charge of protecting Konoha, by actually pushing Madara back himself. That actually gave Hashirama time to prepare a battlefield for him and Madara. So yeah. Now with this, he's actually able to go about and will actually push Madara back, even if he has the Nine Tails. His room ability is simply just overpowered. And Madara's lifespan is shrinking rapidly at one point, because by the end, actually Law was there, and she was actually able to, make sure that there's no surrounding damage to this nearby area that Madara can use to his advantage. But in the middle of that fight, he's hit by a Gamma Knife right in the back. So actually, he does die. Not from the attack, but he does die a bit later. Like, when he meets Obito, he dies, like a day after meeting Obito. Like, that was, the end of his lifespan with the Ten Tails husk fueling him. Like, you just couldn't live off that anymore, because the Gamma Knife was basically just sending radiation through his whole body, and the Ten Tails was really able to keep him purified. So, yeah. But, wait, pause. So eventually Law was able to actually kill Madara, but slowly. But Law used himself was actually able to keep himself, one, he performed the angel surgery on himself. Angel surgery in One Piece has, various names depending on what translation you use. But the one that I come across the most is the immortality surgery. But I'm pretty sure it's just supposed to make you not age, and it makes you physically age, physically on the outside you look normal. You look like you're whatever age you had the surgery performed on you. But then I'm pretty sure for the rest of your life, you age a bit slower on the inside, so it may just affect your vitality, make you live longer, but I don't think you're immortal. And Law was able to perform that surgery on himself. Perform the surgery when he's in his prime state. So his body ages a lot older. But we go to the night of the Nine Tails attack. Well, Law just basically stayed as a top doctor in the Konoha hospital, and actually the one who taught Tsunade medical ninjutsu. And Hiruzen, the time that Jiraiya was trained on Mount Miboku, I guess by the time that they're all tuning, and Hiruzen doesn't even look after them anymore, he's basically focusing on Kage duties. Jiraiya trains to be a sage, Orochimaru does whatever he does, and, I assume Orochimaru might have been trained by Danzo, so we'll say Orochimaru trains Danzo, and then we have Tsunade, who actually works in the hospital to become a medical ninjutsu, because she already has her giant monster strength out already. He improves that, and then focuses on being a medical shinobi. This is where she meets Law, and Law says he's a Senju as well. He's half Senju because of his name, but he lies about that. He doesn't want anyone to know he's a full-blooded Senju. But yeah. But he trains Tsunade with healing ninjutsu and teaches her a few techniques, but she's never as good as him due to him eating the Ope-Ope no Mi, which actually, I think I went over how he ate it. Basically, when he abandoned being, not abandoned, but when he became a shinobi, basically. Well, outside of his house, where the world tree was destroyed, it was actually pretty close by. He was actually kind of digging something because he had buried something to hide from his family, and found the fruit and ate that because he was hungry and knew it was a fruit. He just ate it by coincidence, just like most One Piece characters do, eat their fruits, unless you're Cypher Poles. But yeah, we're going to go over that whole thing. But that fruit basically bestowed him like double or triple his regular reserves, but due to being Ope no Mi and actually being more, I guess, like basically just giving you the ability to perform surgery but times 1,000,000. It basically gave Law the ability to use just passive healing ninjutsu, and he had a healing factor above Hashirama's. But certainly he's actually shocked to hear that he's Hashirama's cousin. So yeah, sometimes you're just shocked that Law is Hashirama's cousin though. But she does ask how old he is, and he says old enough. So yeah, which should shock her. If he's Hashirama's cousin, he must be Hashirama's age, but just uses a jutsu to look young, which isn't entirely wrong. So yeah. But eventually, well, Law just taught Tsunade a few things. She even developed her ability to look young after Law. She wanted to be as young as him. So with this, well, we can probably just go on to Tsunade just becoming a legendary Sannin. He didn't help out in any of the wars despite Tsunade wanting him to, but he says he abandoned being a shinobi a long time ago. Like right after Konoha was founded, he abandoned being a shinobi. He said that he's more of a pacifist, no matter how much he fought in his life. Yeah. So eventually, Tsunade will still keep learning from him until she's about like 30 or so when she leaves Konoha. And pretty sure we can leave it at that till just about the Naruto era now. And then the Naruto attack, not Minato, but well, Law eventually jumped up onto like a nearby roof and then told Hiruzen to focus on fighting the Nine Tails with any shinobi you can. Basically, like he made a law like ordered Hiruzen specifically. Hiruzen knows how old Law is, knows who he is. And he's going to listen to Law, most definitely. Law says focus on getting anyone below the rank of Chunin, or anyone Chunin and below, get them out of here. Now, immediately have them leave. They're not allowed to fight, we need them. But anyone Jonin and above, fight against the Nine Tails and focus on keeping the area safe. So Fusion actually didn't call off Kakashi and Guy. Instead, told them to focus on keeping the surrounding buildings and wildlife safe. And wildlife also does include human life, because I don't like humans and they're wild animals. But he told, like, Guy, if Guy can, like, yes, Guy, how many gates you can use? Guy's like, oh, I can use 5 gates. He was like, alright then, go attack. Kakashi, your Chidori could be useful, you'd attack too, but focus on like, evacuating and keeping things structurally safe. So, yeah. So, they agreed, and Kakashi actually doesn't go into that deep, dark thing about being in the root, because he agrees with Hiruzen a lot more than most people and things, so, yeah. Alright, pause. So, Kakashi actually stays as Hiruzen Zanbu, but eventually when Guy displays his ability to everyone in Konoha, they just see how strong the Green Beast is. And Guy actually begins pushing like the 6th gate in this battle against the Nine Tails, actually able to suppress it a lot and push it back. But she does take the battles of the Nine Tails outside of Konoha. But Law eventually jumps in with Kushina and Minato. Minato doesn't know who Law is. He's never seen Law fight, or he knows who he is, but just hasn't seen him fight. All he knows is that he's Tsunade's teacher for healing ninjutsu, and some old guy. But then see Law hold up Kikoku, and Kikoku's now affected by Law's like whole hockey thing that he does. He calls it hockey, but yeah. But Law then yelled, Black Gamma Knife, slashing down on the Nine Tails, almost cutting it in half, but instead leaving it a very deep cut. He pulls up his blade like the Nine Tails is really weakened, and Kushina eventually had an idea. She knows that Minato doesn't have enough chakra to become the Nine Tails Cherokee himself. If he does, it actually just kill him. So she brings the baby with him, and she tells Law this is the only option they have. And she doesn't know Law. She just knows that Law is an old man too, and doesn't know how much time he has left. All he knows is he's old. They don't know how old. If they knew how old he was, they would let him become a Cherokee, but they don't know. But Law actually picks up Kushina after putting Kikoku away, and then she holds on to baby Naruto as Law basically sprints full speed right towards Minato. Then he would like Kushina and baby Naruto in front of Minato, and tell Minato he'll help him with any seal or push the Nine Tails at bay so the seal can work. Minato agreed, and Minato realized their seals have no chakra to perform a regular seal, and knows there's one option left. Kushina began returning the Nine Tails' tails, while actually began holding it in place by forcing chakra pressure upon it. And he knows Tail Beasts don't die. He's killed the Nine Tails once. Or he thought he killed it. No, in reality he didn't die. The first time Madara fought Konoha, Hashirama, Hashirama just dead ass like had like, well, not Hashirama, but Law basically hit it in the head with a gamma knife. It didn't die, but it basically was just unconscious and valued the end for a long time until it disappeared one day, and he thought it died. But yeah, the Ninetales was almost killed by a Law before. So, but yeah. So I guess that kind of just gave like a little lore. I didn't go over that. I'm sorry I didn't go over that, but yeah. So I guess we can probably just go on to like Naruto, when he's younger, because Minato just like from the Reaper Death Seal, and a lot of thought like this like he actually just killed the Ninetales, and well doesn't come back because we didn't kill it, but we just realized Minato's like, doing the seal before Locking like stop him. Well, Minato finished the seals, and well baby Naruto becomes the Ninetales in Cherokee. But it's not like the Minato had a bit more chakra than in canon, so it was the full Ninetales that Naruto got. He didn't have the chakra form of regular seal that was able to the one he was using to restrain Kushina's Ninetales, but the Reaper Death Seal was able to seal full Ninetales inside Naruto. I felt really bad about this, as we know Kushina, and they're actually able to somewhat like repair their bodies, but they're just a bit too beyond it. Kushina like, exhausted basically most of her chakra, trying to restrain the tails itself with how wild they were and flowing a lot of chakra. But yeah. But Law, he picks up baby Naruto, using as Naruto, but as Law if the baby's okay, and Law says yeah he's fine. This Naruto is put in the hospital, to be adopted, but no one adopts him. Law doesn't know about adopting a child. When Naruto's roughly around 2 years old, well, Law basically gave up being a doctor and being a shinobi in general, even refusing to fight. But one difference in this one, Guy joined Kakashi's Anbu with everyone seeing how impressive he was in the battle against the Ninetales. The thing is, basically, Kakashi, Asuma, Guy, Yamato, and who else was I thinking of? Who else? Kakashi, Guy, I think I said Asuma, and Yamato. I'm going to include. Who's the shinobi that needs spotlight? Kurenai doesn't get spotlight. I don't like her because of her being dummy as Itachi. It was impressive enough that she tried to use Genjutsu. It's impressive for the courage she had, but still it's dumb. We can go on, I guess, to like probably who could be the star besides Law? Law doesn't even need to be a star. He's a Senju. That's already stardom enough. Fugaku. Fugaku has been helping, and with Law demanding all hands on deck for this not attack, but for this defense, well, it was a pretty well-on assault. Like, Fugaku even, began, using just Genjutsu on animals to have the animals run away, and she helped people evacuate. Everyone was, confused why the animals were helping, they saw Sharingan in the eyes, and that was, everyone's like, you care to make the animals help us. And that she gained the favor of the Nara clan. The Nara clan. You know how popular the Naras are, and how high up in society they are in the Konoha, in, a Hidden Leaf. If you have the Nara's favor, you are automatically probably one of the higher ups, because Hiruzen's advisor is a Nara. He's the head of the Nara clan. So it's already just well off enough. But then the Hyuga realized that they were being helped because, well, the Uchiha were also helping them with their compound and escaping. So the kids of the Hyuga were unprotected, and especially Hinata was. When they were crushed, animals ran by and picked up Hinata. Not pick it up hands, but basically sweep Hinata using its head up. Sweep up Hinata using its antlers and stuff. And the animal had a Sharingan in its eyes. So the Uchiha already have big favor in Konoha. Kashi and Guy get a lot more recognition alongside Yamato and Asuma. So yeah, so this is already just an elite force. And here's a whole new Anbu squad consisting of Yamato, Kakashi, Guy, and Asuma. So this already just Hyuzen's 4 OP Anbu. But Guy is also a tad bit stronger in this one due to him actually undergoing Anbu training, but with Kakashi and Yamato. But then Asuma gets this Anbu training. So it's pretty impressive. This is a pretty cool thing for them. And that was just like the backstory of Law, and that was already 20 minutes. But we go into Naruto when he's 2 years old. Law gave up being a shinobi and being a doctor in general. And one day he saw a kid Naruto being chased by villagers. Not a lot of them, but a few, like 3 or 4 of them. But Law had to use room. With how vast his room is, as it covers the whole surface of Konoha, he just snapped, and Naruto, well, not snapped, but he just said shambles, and Naruto appeared in front of him. Naruto was helped out with a pebble, and he was actually far enough away that no one saw him. They thought Naruto took a turn and escaped, so, yeah. Naruto being a kid and actually not really having anyone to raise him, well, he did have Hiruzen, but he ran away from Hiruzen and started causing trouble. But, yeah. But, no, baby Naruto actually used very words and just point at Law saying, "Who you?" Law can basically understand babies with how much he's around them, and basically explains to Naruto who he is in just terms. But yeah, and eventually Law does like just get like accustomed to Naruto. Told Naruto he can adopt him, or basically like, me no parent, but you come friend. So Naruto only has his first friend, goes back between Law, and asks Law to adopt him, but Law's like, no, with his past, he's not really too accustomed to kids. He's not really too keen on raising a kid to be a shinobi with all you've seen, with all he's seen. So Law's really too keen on having a kid, and he doesn't know how Naruto is with his will. Naruto won't listen to him. So yeah, but we can just move on to um. So I guess we can go into Law training Naruto, because Law actually would train Naruto, and for roughly around 11 years. Like by the time Naruto's 2, Law began training Naruto after like a month after meeting him. Basically, just training Naruto basic education, but then with ninjutsu. Basic education, then healing ninjutsu, and basically everything else. So basically, with this, well, one thing that's important is one. Well, Law and Canon, I believe, was just about like 11 or 12, maybe even younger, when his whole kingdom went into flames and began being with the Doflamingo family. But then also Law's also One Piece character with superhuman strength as he flipped a 9 feet tall Roshinante at like 12 years old with no effort. So that was just pretty impressive enough. Oh, pause. All right. So Law was already pretty OP as a kid as he trained um Lao Ji. And Lao Ji, I'm pretty sure, was supposed to be like a reference to Roshi in Dragon Ball Z, and Roshi's main martial art is like Kung Fu and a lot of stuff like that, very similar to Kung Fu. So Naruto wouldn't like get, I guess, Kung Fu, but would get really good martial art experience from Law himself. Well, like Law would bring Naruto to the Valley of the End when he's like eight, like six to 7 and 8 years old. Have Naruto lift up boulders, like have ropes tied around him. Have Naruto lift up boulders and just walk around with them. So Naruto's already like inhumanly strong for his age. By the time he's like 9 years old, he is already like on par with weightless Rock Lee in strength and speed. So yeah. So with this, well, we see Naruto, who by the time he's 12 to 13, I think I'll say 13. Law eventually like just basically, well, with overusage of Gamma Knife, he actually did get exposed to radiation himself. And Naruto, due to him having plot armor, but also having the Nine Tails, Gamma Knife wouldn't really affect him at all. The Nine Tails actually able to get rid of that. Nine Tails chakra itself is basically radiation poisoning, but Naruto controls it himself as like a teenager and stuff. So I'm pretty sure he's able to control that. Nine Tails chakra is able to like basically neglect radiation, and Law eventually had succumbed to some of the poisoning of it, but also just old age itself. It just sort of surgery didn't make him old permanently. So yeah. But Law did tell Naruto how he knew the fruit worked and how he assumed it worked, and basically told Naruto to find a fruit that resembled this shape. Naruto found like say a jackfruit, but they say like the fruit that resembled a jackfruit but smaller. So Naruto basically bought a giant jackfruit, then like they slowly just when Law died, the fruit incarnated into it, and before the law died, like, eat that fruit. But Naruto ate it, tasted like shit, but he didn't care. He just ate it. He ate it, and then, well, he eventually got Law's abilities. But the thing is, Naruto knew what Law was trying to do. He was trying to have Naruto inherit the abilities of him. And Naruto was trained by Law to inherit all these abilities. Like, Naruto even knew Haki, like all three forms of it. When Naruto's bigger chakra reserve than Law, or almost bigger reserve than Law with the Nine Tails inside of him, the whole thing now, well, he's actually able to actually use stronger Haki than Law, just he's so inexperienced with it that he can't hold on to it for long. So, so with this, Naruto would just go about and, well, by the time he's 12, Law died. By the time he's 13, he became a Genin. But Law did make sure that Naruto had friends. He made sure that his whole life wasn't just training. And Naruto actually became friends with Shikamaru and Choji. And Shino, actually. And then Hinata as well. But one thing Naruto did, was pretty important when he was around 6 years old, was he saved Hinata from the kidnapper of the Hidden Cloud. Naruto basically swapped out Hinata, he should tied up in a sack. Naruto can sense it. He basically just used room and then swapped her out with a small log that he ended up cutting up. So when the guy got the Hidden Cloud, he couldn't tell that it was a log. So when Hiyashi arrived to chase the man down, Naruto just held out Hinata, saying the guy didn't know he swapped it out or swapped her out. So Naruto just basically made that shinobi die by A, because A was like, no, you didn't tell. You can tell it's a substitution. You're gonna die now. So Naruto basically saved Hinata, which saved Hisashi by default. So A just thinks he's on thin ice with Konoha, because there's a substitution for a little girl that he was supposed to kidnap. Hiyashi did think Naruto, which puts Naruto in the good graces of the Hyuga. One other thing, the Hidden Leaf likes the Uchiha a lot, because they help direct the Nine Tails away from Konoha, far away from it, which did lead to less casualties. But people still hate Naruto. The same amount of hate as in canon, just barely, not much people died in canon. But the Uchiha are actually pretty good races of everyone in Konoha. But they didn't, it wasn't that they were all killed by Itachi, but instead, a lot of the Uchiha were actually slaughtered by just miscellaneous shinobi. Just the Amu broke into the Uchiha compound at night. If Fuku knew what was going to happen, told a lot of the Uchiha, if we fight back, we're going to look like the bad guys. And then I know we did this, so this probably would hurt everyone. He said it's going to be hard to fight back. With that, he told a lot of them, don't fight back, but make sure some of you escape. With that, the women and children were the ones focused on escaping, while the old men stayed in there and got slaughtered. And the worst part about it for Mikoto, who was actually a survivor, Mikoto, Izumi, and a few miscellaneous Uchihas, they're pretty young. The worst part about it, they pinned it all on Itachi. They pinned it, every little thing, on Itachi. And Itachi, he told Sasuke about this. Sasuke then was like, but brother didn't do this. I know he didn't do it. He was with me. Also, Shisui was actually pinned as well. She was pinned as well, but then Itachi killed Shisui. So they made Itachi oh yeah, he killed Shisui, and then Shisui told him to kill the Uchiha clan, and then Itachi killed Shisui right after. So yeah, they made Itachi worse than in canon. He didn't kill as many people, but still he killed a lot of them. But then killed Shisui. So yeah. Sasuke knows Itachi didn't do any of this. And Sasuke goes and kill Itachi, but to ask Itachi who it is, because Sasuke doesn't know. No one knows besides the men who were killed in the massacre. Well, a few men were still around, but still not many, not a lot of them. So yeah, not a lot of them are left. But still, it was a pretty sad thing, and Mikoto does know how Sasuke feels about that. So with this, well, we just move on to Naruto and Sasuke when Naruto would be, I guess when they're both just about I guess when they're both about 13 when they become shinobi. Naruto actually trained Shikamaru, Choji, Shino, and Hinata a lot. Naruto's in the good graces of the Hyuga, and that's really just it. So, yeah. This is one major thing about it. But, by the time they become shinobi, well, Naruto does eventually decide to, I guess, no. Well, I guess when he comes to Shinobi, he's still playing Team 7. He's Rookie of the Year. He's like, his intelligence, top tier. His intelligence is like Naruto at 13 already has intelligence surpassing Kage. Like, he has intelligence spanning to even a bit before before the Warring States period. Law already knew a bit about that just because he's a history buff, but yeah. We had war all the way going, not war, but knowledge all the way going throughout that, but then tactics from before that and all the way to now. Well, not before the Warring States period, but before Law and all them were born, like decades before. So yeah. So Naruto already knew a lot of things all the way from Naruto and Obel had knowledge spanning to like 200, 300 years ago. But then they had tactics from Shinobi raging about that 300 years ago. So it's just pretty impressive for Naruto. But Law also taught Naruto basic ninjutsu. Until Law. Oh wait, pause. So Naruto has war tactics dating from before the Warring States period to 300 years ago, but then in the middle Warring States period, but then all throughout the Ninja Wars. And Naruto, well, by default of the Ope-Ope, he already has expert level healing in ninjutsu. But then he was taught all techniques by Law, to the point where Naruto is even better than Law is with his vast amounts of chakra, but also with how much control Naruto was taught with over the Nine-Tails chakra as well. With what Naruto was taught with the Nine-Tails chakra, he's actually able to tap into at least 2 tails of it with his sheer will and force. But then just have to admit that Naruto was a different kind of person. Naruto was someone who doesn't hate anything, actually, never hated anything in his life. He hated the villagers when he was like 2 years old, but not after that. Not after meeting Law. He loved everything. Because Law did tell Naruto the secret to his power is loving and respecting and, well, paying no mind to anything that you think you'd hate. So Naruto knows that the Naruto doesn't even care about it. He loves it. He loves it thinking he has something that's like a blessing, not a curse. Just this is the biggest blessing you get to ask for. So Naruto just actually kind of respects Naruto, how Naruto views him, and Naruto views it in the right light. Honestly, if I had the 90 of those, and I knew about the power it'd give me, I wouldn't think it was a curse. I'd view it as a blessing. Fuck the hate. I'm those powerful Shinobi by default because I have the 9 tails. I'd love it too. So yeah, that's kind of Naruto's whole thing. They can pull out 2 tails just by force, and even 3 tails if the 9 tails will let it, if it's in a good mood. So yeah. But then Naruto can like kill someone to the point where he's able to like restore limbs, or not limbs, but he's like able to basically just stop bleeding and then basically just make a wound to scar up with how well he heals it. And he can do that in seconds. So yeah, well, his own body, he basically has 100 healings, even just using 1 tail to tell your days 100 healings. So yeah. Plus he has like every one of the Law's ability, like canonical abilities, like superhuman strength, durability, endurance, speed, his agility. He's also a really good doctor. His devil fruit, he has room. He can slice people apart. He can push out their limbs, have them swap bodies, swap places with things. Gamma knife, all that. Then he has Kikoku now, which is a black blade, and he has all three forms of haki. Plus he can do all nature releases. Just doesn't do any nature releases because he doesn't need any. So yeah. Plus his Tai Taijutsu is on par. Like his Tai Taijutsu like levels. This man can qualify as God of Shinobi with his power right now. I'm telling you that right now. God of Shinobi. Easy. So that's just a low balling for Naruto as God of Shinobi. Devil fruit, training, all that. But yeah, so by the way, for the Uchiha, I had to. There's like 13 members of it left, counting Sasuke and counting Itachi. But Sasuke's mother trains him now because his mother used to be a Jonin, so she was a canonical Jonin. We move on to Naruto becoming a shinobi, and when he came on Team 7, he's Rookie of the Year. When Sasuke would take the place of Sakura, the bottom of the class would be Kiba, but then they needed Kunoichi, who usually do healing ninjutsu, but Naruto does that. But they don't know where else to put Sakura. So with this, well, they actually do put Sakura with Team 7 still. Kakashi's still the team leader, but yeah. My back. Pause. So Team 7 eventually, first they did likes and dislikes, but everyone's shocked here that Naruto has no dislikes. Sasuke's goal is actually not kill someone, but to reunite with a certain someone. Dislikes, well, he can't share that. Hmm. Yeah, that's really just all I can say. So I guess we can just move forward. So basically, Land Waves arc would begin, but like when it came to like, the bell test, Sasuke was taught by Mikoto, which she actually taught him like to train alongside him, and then also train alongside Izumi. Izumi would actually say that one of Itachi's greatest values as a shinobi was teamwork. So with that, well, with one of Itachi's greatest values being teamwork, Sasuke had to work on that with Mikoto and Izumi. So Sasuke's actually decent at teamwork. Sakura is the only weak link with teamwork. Naruto has shadow clones. He works in strategies with shadow clones. They even arrived early for the whole thing because Naruto encouraged them to arrive early. Even like Sasuke didn't want to, but Izumi was like, "Oh yeah, arrive early. He's always late, or you should arrive on time, but he'll always be late. Doesn't matter." But when they hear that like he has to arrive early, well, Mikoto and Izumi already know. Like, well, Izumi was like a little like think about it for a bit. Mikoto's like, "Oh, it's training, obviously." If it's Kakashi from what I've heard about Itachi from Kakashi, what I've heard about Kakashi from Itachi, well, the boy probably knows how Kakashi will function. So you guys should go there, work as a team, train as a team. But Sakura didn't want to be with her as annoying as parents, sound like her parents. So yeah, I guess with this, well, Team Seven would just basically arrive early. And Sasuke would actually ask Naruto if they're here to train, and Naruto says, "Yeah, they're here to make formations." If Sakura shows any basic shinobi skills, she says no, but he's okay with that. What he did is that she pulled out three scrolls from his pockets as Naruto's attire. You know how like Law looks in like the Sabaody arc? Naruto basically looks like that, just minus the hat. Just minus the hat, he looks just like that. Well, in the tattoos, no hat or tattoos, and no height because he's Naruto. He'll get height when he's older, but was also a bit taller than most kids his age because he's also pretty well fed, but he's also a bit like canonical Law in height. So not just being like Sasuke's height, he's like 5'4", so decently big. But still, formations, he actually been helping them with formations, and when he gave Sakura these scrolls, when she opens them, and supposed to kunai, like hundreds of them are launched out and they blow up. Then eventually another one just fires out Demon Wind Shuriken, and with these formations, well, Naruto eventually had actually grabbed one of them, and well, eh. So with this, Naruto was basically able to restore all of it by actually training chakra into it, and the scrolls were restored. But by the time Kakashi does arrive, he seems to have been basically just exhausted. But Naruto eventually would stand up, actually pretty okay actually. Meanwhile, he walks over to Sasuke and Sakura, puts his hand on them as well as green, and they're all restored in energy and health. Sakura says she's ready. Kakashi then asks if they're actually okay with this. So yeah, and yeah. So now we just move on to Team 7, fighting against Kakashi, getting the bells. But no, Kakashi held up two bells. Not immediately like just mumbled under his breath. And Sasuke and Sakura could hear, but Kakashi was barely able to. He didn't hear anything, but he said the test is about. Naruto, when he said to Sasuke and Sakura, the test is about teamwork. And they heard that, they were shocked. But they could see it, honestly. At least one of them is supposed to get a bell and throw it to the other. He was able to tell that once they hit away. But Naruto, well, once they jumped into the trees, Naruto immediately said room. It's how fast it expanded and how vast it was, you can barely see it. You had to be very far away to see it, but, well, he just knew that Naruto was trained by Law, so it was actually just a ninjutsu. Kakashi looked up, seeing blue, and before he could actually realize what it was, a fireball shot at him by Sasuke, but then followed up was a what was it? Was a Phoenix style fire, was a Phoenix style jutsu. With that, we see Kakashi avoiding it, until, well, from above, he's shot at, Demon Shuriken are shot right at him. With this, actually, one of them actually does graze him, and at that grazing him, well, he poofs into a log. But Naruto already knew where he was. Looking in this room, Naruto already found him. Naruto immediately made him close his eyes and said X-ray, and then he found Kakashi. Once he found him, Naruto immediately he was able to swap places with a tree, but it was decent ways away. But Kakashi, it's far enough away that Kakashi couldn't see it, but he can still see Kakashi. But Naruto immediately appeared in front of Kakashi as he swapped places with a leaf. And with this, well, Kakashi slashed out with the sword. That Kakashi was actually able to dodge it without even putting his book away. But then he realized he couldn't see his book. Then he looked down, seeing his body. That Kakashi thought Naruto really killed him, but he was still conscious. Naruto suddenly froze Kakashi's head in place. Not froze it, but was actually able to jump and catch it as it was kind of moving really slow for being a head. As he caught it, he put it on Kakashi's body, but Kakashi realized he couldn't move his body. That Naruto basically just snatched the bells, pulled them off, and put them in his pocket, and then will restore Kakashi's head and cancel out room. That he walked towards Sasuke and Sakura and said that they provided enough info to make him move away, so that was good enough. Well, he threw them both one bell, and well, the test ended in 10 minutes. So yeah. This wasn't even the strategy that I told them about. It was more or less just to see what they could do with the time he gives them. And it's actually pretty decent, so yeah. Yeah, by the way, Sasuke already has a Sharingan, so yeah, he has a 120 Sharingan. Because Izumi had a 3 Tomoe, and Mikoto was a Jonin, so I assume it's another 3 Tomoe as well. So I assume like they both have 3 Tomoes. That's probably Sasuke being overpowered for his age. You can turn by 2 3 Tomoes. By the way, 2 3 Tomoe users. But Sasuke also isn't as emo because he's like sad as his clan is dead, but also just wanting to know why Itachi was framed for it. Wants to know from Itachi directly. But yeah. But Sasuke wasn't there when the Ichi Massacre happened. Shisui was killed by Danzo, but then Danzo was able to keep everyone out of the Uchiha compound, and Itachi wasn't able to arrive there. He was with Sasuke actually. He was hanging out, getting Sasuke some food, and well, yeah. So eventually, Sasuke kind of this is like a little war into Sasuke, but we move on to around a month and a half later. Now Sakura, well, Naruto already knew Genjutsu. Like he's actually pretty good at Genjutsu. Naruto's at least like A rank in every little thing. But the lowest he's A rank, so he's able to teach Sakura a few decent Genjutsu, and he even teach her chakra control. But Sasuke already knew that from Mikoto, so yeah. But Izumi needs to teach Sasuke a few things. So when it came to chakra training, it was Izumi. But then when it came to like Sharingan training, it was Mikoto. But yeah. So I guess we can just move on to Sasuke. By the time he also turned to Kakashi to learn Chidori. When Sasuke already has a Sharingan, he didn't even focus on that. He didn't even focus on training Sasuke as much as he did in canon. Treat him like a normal student when that passed. But then also Chidori training for Sasuke would be good. So he can train like Sasuke with lightning release. To like warm him up to it. So yeah. So Sasuke's curse of hatred is basically just gone. It's more of like a curse of curiosity. Curiosity and agitation is what Sasuke has. So with this, well, by the time that the Land Warriors arc does begin, Naruto and Team 7 they'll have like Tazuna as they escort him. But Tazuna's a bit more confident in the team when he hears and says that this is our strongest Genin team. So yeah. But eventually she asked them to Tazuna would ask Team 7 to leave the room for a second, and they all do. So with this, well, we basically just see with this we basically just find a team. We're going to Tazuna who just talks to Hyuzen as Hyuzen, like, if they're strongest in any team, what would you rank them in terms of like the rank they should be? You're getting curious, saying, really, that's what you think. That's what you think you focus on them. And with that, Tasuna says, yes, he needs to know. Something's off about this mission. So he thinks someone stronger may be targeting him than some basic bandits. Hear that, he gives Houston the whole rundown. And with that, Houston understands, tells him that this team can still go. Which Tasuna, Houston says, Sensei he's at least a low Kage. The Sensei is at least a low Kage. The one with the sword, he's at least regular strong, like an averagely strong Kage with who he was trained by. Then the black-haired boy, he's an Uchiha, trained by Uchiha Jonin, so you can assume his strength for yourself. But I'd say for myself, probably a Chunin. The girl, she's going to give to a chakra. Her Genjutsu, who is out of this world. Even some Jonin would struggle with it. I guarantee you that. I calm Tasuna down a lot. And, well, he just leaves the room, telling them, alright, then we can go now. So they leave, and, well, they go. So, I guess with this, we can probably just go on to Team 7 and with Demon Brothers. But with the Demon Brothers, well, Naruto already knew they were there when it came to the Demon Brothers. So, this again, it's pretty easy to see through. Sasuke saw through it. Sakura saw through it. She's a Genjutsu user. She knows how. Naruto's just immune to Genjutsu. Kakashi already called it out. But Sakura immediately pushed Tasuna back, telling him to stay this far away. And Sasuke immediately just yelled, "Release!" As the Genjutsu was broken. The Demon Brothers shot right out of the puddle. As they shot right out, they attacked Kakashi still. But Kakashi just immediately just disappeared as he's replaced with the giant. Not a giant, but just a leaf. It was relatively big, but still. The leaf is shredded up. Then Naruto jumped instead of one of the Demon Brothers right in the chest with Kikoku. After that, he kicked the Demon Brother out of his sword. Well, Sasuke had basically just Genjutsu the other one, and then Sakura just basically punched him in the face full force. Well, Sakura trained from Naruto. That was also physical training, so yeah. So the Demon Brother basically sent flying a decent ways away, but unconscious. So Naruto basically told Kakashi he can figure out where the base is, give him at least 2 hours. Kakashi agreed, and Naruto ended up running off. So as Naruto ended up running off, he eventually would basically follow the direction that the Demon Brother's back was facing. So ran that way, he actually able to find actually a small hideout. And with this, he eventually would end up basically using a room and swapping it with just a tree trunk. Actually, he did not crush, but well, the base was actually destroyed. Oh, pause. It was hard to basically flatten the base of the Demon Brothers. Not flattened it, but able to basically have it just poof into twigs and twine and whatever. Well, suddenly he would see something fly at him, but well, he sees a person behind it. The person is moving irregularly fast, but Naruto, is faster. Holds his hand out, and the fastest punch anyone's ever seen. The person is hit right in the face, as what felt like a mask is blown apart. So as this Demon Brother eventually is basically kind of sent to a full 360 with that force. Not Demon Brother, but as this person sent in full 360 with that force, he would land right in his back. Well, Naruto thinks that he looks really close to the face, saying, "Oh, you're a girl." Now, Haku's on the ground with her nose broken. Yes, you heard me, her. And suddenly Naruto ends up seeing a blade flying right at him. But suddenly, he ends up holding up one finger and says, "To shambles." With that, the blade is swapped with like basically, I guess like let's say like Haku's senbone that he threw. Then Naruto got the senbone and threw it at Zabuza, hitting him right in the eye. Zabuza hit in the eye by it, he'd fall over, only for him to jump and kick Zabuza right in the face, pushing the senbone deeper into his face. But Naruto ended up grabbing the tip of the senbone, then just chakra into it, cutting Zabuza's chest. Then Naruto begins cutting Zabuza down with the senbone, till Zabuza falls to his knees, passing out from blood loss. Now, Naruto eventually basically takes the bandage off Zabuza's mouth, or from around his mouth, and ties it around Zabuza's face, so his eye is, not bleeding, as bleeding everywhere. Haku, Naruto eventually is able to use Earth Release to actually bind Haku, and yeah. Then Zabuza basically just dragged by Naruto. Zabuza's unconscious just through pain. Eventually, they're able to make their way. Well, he ran to Team 7, dragging the two behind him. They arrive at Team 7. So as they arrive at Team 7, well, I guess we can go to, I guess we can go to Land Waves where Zabuza and Haku are questioned by Naruto. Then being questioned, Naruto is actually able to tell them about people like Gato. Then people like Gato, well, Naruto was told them that they're never really this honest. And he has Zabuza think about it. Think about everything that Gato has done and how he treats you. Do you think he's going to pay you? Do you really think so? Zabuza thinks about it and says, he has to or I'll kill him. But Haku then says, Master Zabuza, but no offense, but he won't pay us at all. He probably thinks his worthless bandits can kill us. Zabuza thinks, saying, you're probably right. Damn it. Yeah, then that's Naruto what he's going to do about it. Naruto had said, he'll help them actually get revenge on Gato if he tells them where the base is. Zabuza agreed, but as Naruto, he still gets his paycheck. Naruto said sure. Then Naruto walks to the center of the land waves, or the village, and basically announces everything that Zabuza and Haku told them. Then Zabuza says he's taking from the money that was taken from them, has got us billions upon billions of Rio. Many of the villagers gather up all the money they have and put it in front of Zabuza and Haku, saying this is the exact amount that they need, but this is the last amount of, this is like the last cent they have. So with this, Zabuza eventually bows down to the villagers, apologizing they take their money, and Leland says, well, now they bought his protection. And that he then tells Naruto to take Haku with him to the base, and Haku will escort Naruto there. For that, Naruto and Haku basically make their way to the base, and Sasuke and Sakura being trained with Kakashi. Well, actually, probably not Sakura, but she's a clone of Naruto to train with. Well, Sasuke keeps on with his Chidori training. Now, eventually, when they got at the base, Naruto told Haku he can get Haku in there pretty easily. All he needs is to see someone inside. But Naruto was able to find a window, see someone inside, and swap it out. It happened to be Gato's right-hand man. Haku appeared next to Gato, in place of Gato's guard. Gato's guard is killed outside by Naruto. Haku as Gato, they really think that Zabuza was a fool, and that he wouldn't know that he wasn't going to be paid. So with this, basically Gato then says, "Who told you? Who leaked it? Who leaked it? I promise. I'll pay you double." Listen, Haku says, "Sorry, but someone found out and is offering to pay up double what you're paying us. No, quadruple what you're paying us." Gato says, "Well, I can easily pay that." Haku says, "Nope, sorry. We end up preferring them." Haku then actually cuts out his throat with the senbone, and Naruto would watch outside as basically just Haku kills everyone inside with just one senbone. It's the one he killed Gato with. So Haku eventually walked out and told Naruto where all the money was. Naruto eventually walked in, and there's billions of Rio there. But then he looks, seeing a map, and it's mapped out with all Gato's businesses. Naruto had an idea. He ends up telling his clones to travel full speed ahead in their tailed beast cloaks. They do just that, and they all come back within the span of roughly Prison Land Waves mission was supposed to take 1 week. They'll come back within 2-3 days. And those bases were basically just fronts for illegal businesses. But Naruto shut them all down himself by taking all their money. So, yeah. The clones all came back with basically millions or billions of Rio, and all the money that they took from Gato, they can now use for Konoha or themselves. But Naruto threw a bag of this money to Zabuza, saying, this is like, I figured it out. So, how big Konoha is and how much money he's going to get because of Naruto and Team 7, mainly just Naruto. Well, plus Zabuza and Haku, they get like 200 million yen or Rio from Naruto. So yeah, but Naruto does encourage them some that's like bribe money to come to Konoha, and they agree. But as for Konoha, he just gets all the money, and he was actually able to expand Konoha a great amount. Konoha, like the estimated length of Konoha is like a few like 30, 40 miles long. But Naruto was able to push, like, with the money he gave Fusion, they were able to push that all the way, like taking in other villages and absorbing the village and absorbing a lot of their small country. Like land of hot water, land of waterfalls, even a bit of the hidden rain for protection, which Nagato doesn't like, and actually does like actually will push like some of Fusion's like this business away. I'm actually putting out the hidden rain just because I don't want it. We can say the hidden sound, and then the land of hot water, sound, and waterfalls. Those are the villages that the land of fire absorbs. But then they also fuse it with Konoha. As Konoha went from like 30 miles wide, she also hit 35 miles wide, just across, and then probably more in length or less in length. But then that pushes in to like a few, like 100 miles, like 300 miles. So Konoha basically expanded like times 10. So yeah, she did have their economy booming a bit more. Then all those small villages got being absorbed as well. They're even more profitable. So yeah, the Konoha economy is booming. But Naruto and Kakashi and Sasuke and Sakura both kept their own money. Now Naruto himself already has over a billion yen for himself. Like with like he took over a whole like CEO's company just in a matter of days, and then ransacked every single corporation he had in hours. So billions of dollars is probably not below him. So like Naruto put like Jiraiya levels of cash in everyone's account. So yeah. So with this, well, we can just probably go into the tuning exams. The tuning exams, Team 7 does sign up. We introduce like characters like Neji and Hinata, but this one, Neji's a good person. His dad's alive, so yeah, his dad's cool. Even like with this, like he actually even like felt grateful, and knowing the consequences, felt bad about what may have happened if he killed someone. So he actually knowing what would have happened if he didn't acknowledge the consequences, he actually did remove like Neji and Hizashi's seals and had them train as main branch members. So yeah, Hinata's a lot stronger, about as strong as Neji even. And Neji's also a bit stronger. Hinata's like, it's like on par with Kaneko Neji in the final exam. Well, Neji is just about like not close in power to adult Neji that we see in like Naruto. Not adult, but not close to that Neji, but he's like strong enough to beat Kidomaru without getting severely injured. He'll had like a few injuries, but not be shot through the stomach with a giant arrow. But yeah. So with this, we go on to the written test. Well, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura are all independently intelligent. Sasuke's mother also encourages him to study 24/7 when the tuning exams are about to roll around. But then Sasuke also has interest in swords because I assume he probably would as in canon. Plus, he sees how Naruto uses it and is very impressed by it, so he turns to Zabuza and Kakashi both. Well, Naruto turns to Haku, and then Sakura turns to Haku as well. Sakura trains with Haku in place of Naruto, but Naruto also basically trained with Haku just to adapt to her speed. So yeah. But with this, well, we just see Naruto, who just, eventually, he's actually able to pass the written test because he's smarter than Itachi and Minato. I don't think I said this, but he is. With him being smarter than those two, he passes the test in just like 5 minutes tops. And then turns it in, but then with Sasuke and Sakura, well, when you turn in the paper and Ibiki put it down, first he analyzed it and put it like in the stack. Naruto basically swapped it out with an empty sheet of paper. When he swapped it out, he had basically used room the moment he walked in there. But the room was so small, it was only like the room was so small that it wasn't really able to be like seen. So with this, well, with the room being used, he like just swapped out papers comfortably. Like swapped this paper with like some random like, let's say the Naruto put like the small leaf on Sasuke Sakura's desk. He swapped out his paper with that leaf and they copy it down. But eventually, Naruto befriending like basically most of Konoha 12, like team Asuma, they're able to read it, and team Kurenai. Team Guy's the only team that they're not friends with just yet. So basically, just get everything written down. So yeah, Hinata did actually ask Naruto to help Team Guy, and he did just that. Between the papers, they look they all look at the papers, and well, they have the same answers. All Konan teams passed in the span of like 15 minutes. So with that being done, they had a whole hour. We actually allowed them to actually leave early. They're all outside, waiting to force death. Then she actually asks who helped them all cheat. But then Hyunton says, "Oh, it was Team 7." And then Shikamaru says, "Oh yeah, no, yeah, Naruto. You know you got one of them wrong, right?" And Naruto's like, "I didn't get it wrong. I phrased it differently." And he did just that. She pointed out that there's like the similarities in it, but it still passed. So yeah. But Neji getting most of that paper right instead of missing. Instead, like he take missing one step to missing the whole paper. So yeah, we think Naruto. But Naruto also wanted to see how strong Neji was. He knew Hinata was strong, but how strong is she? Is he? So with that, Naruto being a fighting against Neji. But Neji's taijutsu proved to be basically just useless against Naruto. His taijutsu was stronger. Even Rock Lee wanted to spar against Naruto, and he did. He even says that anyone who wants to test their skill can get amplified by training with him. So he'll train them all. It's about the next exam, but he says he's a healing shinobi, and plus with his amount of chakra, he could heal them all in seconds and not be drained at all. But everyone was training with him, except for Sasuke and Sakura, we train with each other. But Sakura changed a bit. Like she changed a lot, actually, not just a bit. But as they all train together, well, eventually they should all get advice from Naruto. By the time the whole hour is up, they arrive, and Anko wasn't even there. She was like just waiting on the roof for the exam to end and crash through it. So she didn't even see any of them training. Then by the time that Naruto senses them all coming, he immediately just sent out clones. They heal everyone there, and they're all back to their full power. But Neji took Naruto's hints and then just thanked Naruto. Even like with Rock Lee's body, he just doesn't know the weaknesses. But then when he's all about the weights, he should have dropped them at the beginning of the fight. So yeah. But with this, eventually they do move on. Rock Lee didn't take off the weights. We tried to use Hidden Lotus, and Naruto took the Hidden Lotus, but just landed on one hand, and flipped Rock Lee right off of him. So yeah, he simply just let Rock Lee try to use a Hidden Lotus, but he just pulled one arm out, no effort, and just landed on his hand and flipped up in the air. So with this, we should go on to the Force of Death. With all the teams in there being amplified in power a bit, just because they turned Naruto for a bit and then got some advice. Well, Shikamaru learned tactic a long time ago, and Shadow already has better reach than in canon. So he's actually able to explain the Shadow out, but then actually will think about a Shadow and where it is and the location, and also tell if people have been there or not. He does find the most recent path people. He actually follows it with his team, in which Shino's Bugs also helping. Not Shino, I mean with I don't know thinking of like Team Hinata. But Shikamaru's actually able to use bugs, not bugs, I mean, use shadows to find out where people have been most recently. Then Kiba actually, not Kiba, Ina was able to help him. But when Naruto uses the bathroom with the whole Hidden Rain team, he kills them pretty easily. And then just takes their scrolls. So yeah. So, as he took the scroll, they needed it, and they began going on, till the snake is about to hit Naruto. When the snake is about to hit Naruto, he held his hand out and basically just tanked it, and the whole snake just poofed on Naruto. Naruto was just shocked looking at what Naruto, I don't know if Naruto had like a blade out or something. It's just his regular hand, but there's a black substance surrounding it. Naruto immediately said if he didn't use that, he would have been sent flying. With that, he tells Sasuke and Sakura to run, but be sure to keep an ear out or eye out. They listen to Naruto, he's basically their team leader. So yeah. But suddenly, he senses Naruto's presence heading towards Sasuke, only for the presence to be actually just cut off by Naruto. Naruto would prevent Orochimaru, slashing his chest open, and instantly pulls his neck back, looking at Naruto, questioning why he didn't kill him on impact. Not impact, but immediately. And Naruto ends chuckling, saying he wants to see who has the balls to attack him. But then Naruto and Orochimaru fight. No, Naruto and Orochimaru fight. But Orochimaru is still able to kill Hiruzen, and well, should not kill him, but Ultraman pulling out all the stops actually was able to kill Hiruzen, not by himself, but Naruto is just about that strong. So he's about as strong as Orochimaru is, probably even stronger because well, I'd say Naruto's like a tad bit above Jiraiya, so she's not above. I'd say with Orochimaru being, I guess like, hmm, I'm gonna phrase it this way. Orochimaru may be one of the weaker Sanin, but with the abilities he has, like with just like basic ninjutsu and everything, he's like one of the weaker Sanin. But then with his I guess with his Edo Tensei amping him as well, not amping, but helping him, he'd be one of the stronger ones. Well, Jiraiya himself, I'm pretty sure Jiraiya's the strongest Sanin overall. Well, Naruto, I'm gonna say that Jiraiya's probably just Naruto and Jiraiya basically just equals in power. With Naruto pulling out every last top he has, he'd be stronger than Jiraiya. But keeping himself to be regular, like just using like his abilities on a basic level, he's about as strong as Jiraiya. So using his basic abilities, he's actually able to beat Orochimaru, but it's still a pretty challenging fight. But when the fight's over, Naruto's jacket has been completely destroyed, but Orochimaru's laying on the ground unconscious and covered in blood. Then Naruto ends up walking away, then called Orochimaru a useless bastard, saying that if Orochimaru is truly a shinobi, he's a damn useless one. But Naruto didn't realize one thing. In the fight, Orochimaru was able to sneak a snake into Naruto's pocket. The snake happens to be able to regurgitate Orochimaru. As Naruto met back up with the scene, they realize that he's pretty beaten up. But they ask if it was a challenging fight, and he says, challenging, but the worst part is he lost like his holster for his sword or a sheath or something. So yeah. So that's something the snake would pop out of Naruto's pocket, before you can grab it, Orochimaru shot right at the snake, and he bites Sasuke on his neck. Sasuke ends up getting in pain, only for Naruto basically to shambles Orochimaru away, and then tell Sasuke to run as far as he can. Sasuke would pass out, but Sakura would catch him, and then say she's gonna be able to do it. So she picks up Sasuke and runs off. There's Naruto would fight Orochimaru again, but even basically going all out, using like two tails and everything. Orochimaru's beaten down into the ground, and Naruto just tells him basically to F off. And Orochimaru just lays there unconscious. Now, as he tries to basically walk back up to his team, he hears a loud boom. But then, well, as he just arrives there, he looks on a tree, seeing Sakura there. But Sakura, well, he saw Sakura. We thought he'd see Sakura there because he saw like some of her pink hair. It's really hard for someone to actually just analyze all the hair around, just because Naruto's very analytical. He sees it. When he doesn't see Sakura's body, he looks up, seeing Sakura carrying Sasuke, and then shove a kunai right into Zaku's neck. Now that Zaku's killed, Sakura pulls that kunai out, throwing it right into Kiin's face. He's able to basically just block it at the senbone, only for Sakura to basically just say, got you. As Sakura was telling me of a hand seal, and, well, Kiin realizes that the basic wrapping around the kunai was an explosive tag, as it blows up, right in Kiin's face. So, not right in it, but because it actually burns her face and almost kills her. And doesn't have to be nearby, but he jumped away right as Sakura with that hand seal. But Sakura already saw Naruto. She was in the tree that he just next to the tree that he was in. But she saw those who jump into the tree that Naruto was in. Well, as those who gets high up enough, well, suddenly, his body falls while his head is being held still by something. Unless it's taking the consciousness, he doesn't see that it's a sword he's standing on, and then, well, he just dies. Naruto didn't use room. He just cut through Dodos with like butter. So it's really no effort for Naruto, I guess. But with this, eventually they head into the tower, and at this point, it's been roughly about like 2 hours. Naruto's battle with Orochimaru, it's trying to be average and not push himself to an extreme. Took him just about 40 minutes. So yeah. And then it came to Sakura avoiding Team Dosu, avoiding all their attacks and everything, even avoiding Team Kabuto as they intervened at one point, but they were like just using a transformation jutsu. That took her it took Naruto like another 30 minutes to find her. Then fighting Team Zaku and invading all their attacks, so Zaku went all out, was like another 15. So eventually, when both their time traveling to the tower and Sasuke waking up, but Naruto knocking him out immediately, that took them just about 2 hours in total. Now that they arrive at the tower, they go inside, and they're like the third team to arrive there. But basically, who arrived before them was actually Team Neji. But they're shocked to see that Naruto looks like he was beat up. That's not what happened. He says, "Oh, he's holding back in a fight, and this happened." So yeah. That Shikamaru says, like, while just Team Kurna were walking by, not Team Kurna, Team Asuma walking behind them, saying, "I knew it. Also, we found this for you. This is Naruto turning around, catching something, and it was his sheath. You think Shikamaru, and that's where he found it." Shikamaru says, "Oh, I like some battle site by some snake skin." And he asks Naruto if he picked up like some giant snake. So yeah. But eventually it goes on to the preliminaries. But during his 5 days, Naruto trained with Rock Lee. But not really training, but helping Rock Lee discover this is not inner peace, but how to I don't know how to phrase it. But he's basically able to help Rock Lee basically just discover the like deeper gates, but then just basically help Rock Lee's body push it. Like Rock Lee snapping into this gate, but then Naruto ends up healing the damage, making Rock Lee go like just push forward. Actually, Rock Lee able to push himself to like the seventh gate, but Naruto can't heal the damage that fast, telling Rock Lee to don't use that gate again, hold it off for a bit. And Rock Lee agrees, but he thanks Naruto. But then Naruto and Rock Lee begin doing basically physical training. Sasuke and Sakura grow closer, and we should go into the preliminaries now. Rock Lee versus Gaara specifically. Sasuke's fight goes the exact same way, it's just he wins in like 10 seconds because it's easy for him. He's already a physical monster. Then Sakura versus Sakura won that fight with no effort. Kilo was too scared to fight Naruto and just said he submits. So yeah. So Rock Lee versus by the way, Hinata versus Neji. Neji won but held back, so he didn't like go all out like he did in Canon, but still made sure to at least it was enough power to beat her. But yeah. But Rock Lee versus Gaara, the fight doesn't end in just this Rock Lee losing. This one he just had to have one arm broken or crushed. But instead of just submitting or jumping back, he ends up yelling "Seventh Gate open." With that, my guy is shocked, and Rock Lee then yells, "I'll teach you. I'll teach you what my sensei taught me." And that is, well, how would I phrase the right lesson that Naruto taught Rock Lee? Basically, it's inner peace is everything. Rock Lee's pushing through the pain, only to find the bright side in his own peace to beat Gaara. The peace he'd get from doing this. The validation of Naruto and Guy. That is what his inner peace is. The inner peace of possibly getting closer to getting to Naruto's strength. And with that, he's able to punch through Gaara's defense immediately, sometimes in Gaara's face, but there's not enough force to send Gaara flying back, but it's enough force to knock out Gaara and break his defense. But with that, Rock Lee falls over, passing out. But Naruto caught both Rock Lee and Gaara, and they're both really well-toned warriors. As he just says both their flaws out loud, he throws Gaara guards to Tamari. But Tamari's like Gaara may lash out into Shukaku. But Naruto holds out room, as Gaara's saying is leaking out. Well, basically Gaara basically forced as basically just the Naruto's chakra forced onto him, and he just passes out again. But he's asleep actually. But Naruto ends up being able to actually help Rock Lee. And Rock Lee's arm, he actually been healing it, and it's fixed. But Rock Lee's body also just been getting fixed in total. My guy would thank Naruto, and you can tell that Rock Lee was referring to Naruto, because the lesson of inner peace was not taught to him by Might Guy. My guy doesn't know that's probably one of his failures that he'll never let go of. But Kakashi then told my guy that Naruto is basically the main sensei on his team, or one of the senseis. It's like Kakashi and Naruto as senseis, Sakura and Sasuke as students. So yeah. So then when heard that Naruto was personally training Sakura, she eventually realized why she lost. Sakura's being trained and not fangirling. Yeah, Sasuke and Sakura are friends, but that's all Sakura would really want as a fangirl, besides being a wife. But Sakura knowing that being friends is all she'll take for now, all she'll get for now is what she just takes. I'm his friend, that's all I need. So, yeah. But then we move into Konoha Crush. When you go to Konoha Crush, well, not Konoha Crush exactly, but we go into Naruto's training with Jiraiya, summoning Jutsu. Naruto already summons a lot of things. He summons Kikoku. Kikoku's basically the sword, but he summons it occasionally. He can summon Kikoku, he can summon Kubikiri Bocho. He trains Zabuza a bit. Um, he uses like a lot of scrolls too. So something is really short for him to get down to. It does it in like 15 minutes. Then when Jiraiya's like, okay, then I kills Chakra. Naruto instantly shot up to like three tails, saying this is all this is like all he can do without going berserk. Jiraiya's like, okay, that's all you need then. And then, well, eventually, as Naruto has heard of like the first Hokage's legendary jutsu. Naruto says it's called like the Rasengan or something. Jiraiya's like Rasengan, but close. But with this, well, Naruto actually began undergoing Rasengan training. With how well in tune he is with his own chakra and how well he's good at controlling it, he's actually able to get the Rasengan done in just about a day. But then he spends the next few weeks going over like how to basically just like make different versions of Rasengan. But the strongest version of it is the Room Rasengan. He basically compresses Room down into Rasengan, but then he combines it with one of Room's abilities. Either the slice ability where he hits you with it and your body splits up into pieces, but you're not dead, or the transplant ability where he basically shoots out an organ and then puts it into like a small container, and you're still living without that organ until Naruto decides to give it back or basically destroy it. Or he can basically hit you with it and you swap places, basically like a flying Raijin, but you get hit. Or he hits you with it, but then you swap bodies if like this one requires a clone, but you're hit with it and then you swap places with the other person that was hit. Not places, but swap minds with the person that was hit by the other Sengan. Or by the other room Sengan. Then there's also the green Rasengan, he calls it that. It's combined with Room and Gemma Knife. As he hits you with it, but you basically hit with a buttload of radiation. Well, it also does basically impact and piercing damage. This is if he hits you hard enough with it, you basically get a hole punch right through you. So yeah. So eventually with this, Jiraiya's pretty impressed with Naruto, and with the training that Naruto got, and actually valuing this Rasengan, well, Naruto is just about stronger than Jiraiya now, even if he goes to use regular abilities. Also, Jiraiya was told by Naruto that he fought Orochimaru in the forest and beat him. He described who he fought, and of course didn't know who it was, but he fought him. And then Jiraiya's like, oh, you fought another Sannin by the name of Orochimaru. So yeah. Jiraiya basically said that Orochimaru was one of the weakest ones, but with how fast he learned, that made him the biggest threat. So yeah. With this, going on fresh let's go about, Naruto does fight Neji. Both fighting against Neji. Well, Neji already knew this fight he couldn't be able to win. So Naruto and Neji being fighting, even Neji using the the rotation. Well, Naruto just began basically was like looking at it closely. Then halfway through, put his hands in Haki. Then put his hands in between Neji's arms, and Neji couldn't get past it. Because not being able to get past it, Neji was beaten by that. Pause. So Naruto eventually stopped Neji's rotation using Haki by putting his hands in between Neji's hands, stopping the rotation, then flipping Neji around. That Neji slumps down on the ground when he's flipped into the air, and defeated. Then we just move on to Sakura, who would take the place. Well, I should not take the place of anyone. Well, actually, Dosu, Kin, and Zaku. Not all of them, but Kin is out of commission. Dosu is dead, and then so is Zaku. So basically, Kin is that this one she takes the place of Gaara. She takes the place of Dosun being killed by Gaara. But in this one basically, Choji. That means Choji passed, so we can say Sakura versus Choji. But then Shino never fought anyone, so Shino is just here by default. So Sakura and Choji are two new additions to the exams, and Sakura fights Choji and wins. Choji still trained a lot to do this, so he lost, but still he fought really hard. As you're barking, that's my dog. She doesn't know that some noises at the doors in the house isn't someone coming into the front door. She thinks everything opening is the front door now. But yeah. But then Sasuke versus Gaara, that fight actually goes pretty similar in canon. Just Sasuke. Well, by the time the Land of Waves ended, he could already do at least one Chidori a day. But then just one with the training, just let that going up to Sasuke developing new versions of Chidori. So he developed Chidori Spear. But the thing is, he only do one Chidori Spear, and that actually was able to have the Sasuke pierce through Gaara's ultimate dome defense thing, hitting Gaara right in the shoulder. That Gaara had dropped the defense, but then about to go berserk. As Gaara should be trying to jump out, suddenly room is used, and Sasuke and Gaara swap places. Then everyone realizes that, Kabuto realizes that all the snakes are supposed to be, used to destroy the barriers weren't used. Doesn't want to know why? Naruto has clones everywhere. The one he felt like some shinobi gathering, or sensed some shinobi gathering on the outside of the walls that went from the hidden leaf. He immediately just made clones when he went to the bathroom, and those clones went all out and just knocked out all those shinobis. So not just have to go on Koresh besides Orochimaru. The only difference is, Naruto has a clone right on the ceiling that no one can see. No one sees him. Just a clone that's just like crouching on the ceiling. So Naruto himself ends up going about and with Gaara trying to escape again. Naruto basically ends up swapping Gaara with Sakura. And Sakura knew what was going to happen. He Naruto told her, saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to swap you with Gaara." She said, "Okay." She swapped out. Then Gaara suddenly punched in the face by Naruto and knocked out. But Gaara's about to transform into Shukaku in the middle of the arena. He's punched into the middle, but turned into Shukaku. But as he turns into Shukaku, Sasuke jumps up with another Chidori ready, and was about to hit Shukaku with it. He eventually would have his Chidori turned off, and he passes out. But Naruto ends up catching him, telling Sasuke it was a good try. As Naruto ends up saying lightning style, Angel's Blade. He suddenly would cut Shukaku clean in half. Without Shukaku being cut in half, Naruto eventually would put his sword away, put Kyoku away, but then yell Room Sengun, slamming a transplanting Sengun, or transplanting Room Sengun into Gaara's chest. As Gaara's heart is pushed right out of his body into a small container. And Naruto catching it, then telling Shukaku that right here's Gaara's heart. If Shukaku doesn't calm down, he's gonna kill Gaara, which would kill Shukaku in return. Shukaku has no choice but to actually calm down, but he does suddenly just kicked right in the face and knocked out. Naruto puts the heart back, and let's basically just Gaara be. We pointed up at Orochimaru, calling him Orochimaru, and before he doesn't even know what happened, he's grabbed from behind by Orochimaru, about to be killed. Only for the clone to stab a sword right through the ground, stabbing it all the way up Orochimaru's foot. Orochimaru tries to fall back, only for his leg to basically be severed in half. Like his leg is split in half, but still attached to his whole body. Orochimaru is yelling in pain, only for him to be stabbed right in the face by Hiruzen, and Hiruzen says, "Don't drop your weapon." As he walks away from Orochimaru. But he misses Orochimaru's mouth as Orochimaru is regurgitated. Pause. So Hiruzen didn't stab Orochimaru right in the mouth and in the neck, so Orochimaru regurgitated himself. Then he's able to escape Kabuto. Kabuto didn't even use the Genjutsu and realized that that there was no one to attack. So with that Orochimaru was able to escape to Town 4. But, yeah. Town 4 didn't see the Genjutsu be cast, so they didn't even try to use their dome thing. Now, Hiruzen actually just chuckled, calling that the biggest fluke of an attack, but looked down the hole, seeing Naruto was still holding a sword, ready to stab again. Hiruzen then jumped down in front of everyone and asked Naruto if he knew the attack was coming. Naruto said, yeah, he fought Orochimaru in the Forest of Death, just didn't know who he was at the time. Hiruzen asked the outcome of that fight, and Naruto says he barely won. This makes Hiruzen chuckle, and asks Naruto how he knew they were there. Well, he says he sensed them and then sent clones to take down the guys who were at the gate. With that, everyone else at the gates were apprehended, and Ross is found to be dead. So yeah. Eventually, Hiruzen actually feels so upset that he couldn't even figure out this attack was coming, but some random 13-year-old could, probably even 14 at this point. So with this, he basically ends up, saying that there should be a whole new Hokage. Now the elders realize that Naruto's intelligence is great, even surpassing Minato and Itachi's, and then he's actually able to figure out some tactics and everything that are beyond all Jonin, most Anbu. Like, he's just really impressive as a shinobi in general. But he doesn't go say that Naruto's simply just too young and like enough experience to become, well, a Kage. So with this, well, he just told him that Naruto can be a candidate, because Naruto will lose. People will know that he'll be a candidate. But they don't know who else could be another candidate besides, well, Naruto. Some elders say Danzo, but, well, the council will actually swaying in favor of, well, not Danzo, especially the Uchihas. If the Uchiha swaying no, a lot of the Naras do agree with that. Even Shikaku, because he has common sense, so all the Naras say no, all the Uchiha say no, the Hyuga say no, because they want to vote for Naruto. So, yeah. So with this, well, Danzo is basically like a candidate, but he already has no votes as a certified thing. The Uchiha do Naruto being Sasuke's friend say, well, yeah, Naruto. The whole of Nara, the whole of the Uchiha, the whole of the Hyuga say Naruto. Then even Hiruzen and Jiraiya say Naruto, but he's so young, so they say no, which has more pull than just one clan. With this, they call for Tsunade. That sounds like a good idea. But they ask Naruto first, and he says he'll be a candidate. He doesn't want to be Kage, but he'll go try to look for Tsunade. So yeah. So with this, they go and agree, and well, Naruto goes to find Tsunade with Jiraiya. Then we go to but we go to Kakashi and everyone else versus Kisame and Itachi. Now, one big difference: Asuma is stronger, because pretty sure in this recording at least, I mentioned he was in the Anbu because of how much he helped in the Konoha Crush. Not Konoha Crush, I mean, the Konoha's defense against the Nine Tails. I don't know why I said Konoha Crush. Guy's a bit stronger, Kakashi's a bit stronger, and Asuma's a bit stronger. The current training with Asuma also became a bit stronger, so all the senseis are stronger. So that's just some things to mention. Because a lot of them were in the Anbu. Just not Kurenai. So when it came to Itachi and Kisame versus the sensei, well, Itachi just told Kisame that this fight, they most likely will end in a draw, not a victory. This confused Kisame a bit, but Itachi then said that all of them, except for one of them, was in the Anbu Black Ops with him. And they're all just about as strong as a basic Anbu captain of the Hidden Leaf. Kisame had to admit that was someone like Itachi. So Kisame was a bit weary, but his opponent was Guy, and his opponents in the fight were Guy and Kurenai. Well, Itachi's opponents were Kakashi and Asuma. Excuse me. Actually, that makes no sense, honestly, but then I don't want Kurenai to fight Itachi because I don't like her that much playing Itachi. But Kakashi would fight Itachi, not being hit by Genjutsu. Also being a bit stronger with the Sharingan, because he trained Sasuke with it. But then he also trains with Mikoto and Izumi occasionally, because he wants to train Sasuke more, and Sasuke has parents who are able to okay the training at his house. So yeah. This Kakashi is able to resist some Genjutsu until it comes to Tsukuyomi. But when it came to Tsukuyomi, Kakashi was already ready to launch an attack. With the attack he was ready to launch, that attack ended up being, well, a Chidori Spear. With the Chidori Spear, it hit Itachi right in the shoulders. Itachi basically yelled and jumped away, holding onto his shoulder. With that, Kisame immediately jumped away, covered in blood and bruises, and missing Samehada. Suddenly, Samehada kicked right into Kisame's body as Kisame falling into a tree, with Guy being in the 7th gate. Guy's panting, saying he didn't expect to be pushed this hard. But Kakashi already knowing who they're here for, being Naruto probably, he tells them both to fuck away from Naruto. He says it just like that, to fuck away from Naruto. And with that, Itachi and Kisame get up. Kakashi says he'll give them 5 minutes to run away. Run outside of Konoha as fast as you can. They agree with that. I guess if Kakashi's still conscious, He's able to just get jutsu that are like A and S rank. So this mainly train with Naruto, but also Izumi, Mikoto, Sasuke, all of them. So resisting Genjutsu is something Kakashi can do, but it takes up basically every ounce of chakra he has. So Kakashi basically just passed out, and he barely was able to resist Tsukuyomi. But this does knock him into a coma. So yeah. Uh, so like Kisame and Itachi don't ever attack Naruto. Kisame can be just too tired out to even just walk at this point, and Itachi can barely even move one arm. Not barely, actually, he can't move one arm. Wait, pause. So Naruto and Jiraiya basically just go around. Naruto doesn't really feel, it's okay being by himself. Because he talked about the Akatsuki, and now they're basically all S-rank shinobi. And Naruto, possibly assuming that one of them could be above a Sannin, doesn't really feel safe by himself. He himself is above a Sannin, but he's barely above a Sannin. If he were to fight in perfect sage mode Jiraiya, he wouldn't lose, but he'd be in agony. He'd be put in a coma at this point. Like he'd win the fight, Jiraiya would be dead, but he'd be in a coma. So yeah. So with this, Naruto would basically just go with Jiraiya, and eventually be able to gather info. But Jiraiya never wasted any Naruto's money. He refused to let him take any a single penny from him. Naruto was still about like Jiraiya levels are rich, but still, Jiraiya can use his own money. He's a grown man. So with this, well, we just move on to Naruto and Jiraiya being able to lead on Tsunade a bit earlier, which leads to them meeting Tsunade about an hour earlier. Before she walks out of the gambling hall, she just lost. As he walks in, well, before he walks in, she asks her if she's in debt now. Because yeah, maybe he just threw a bag of money to her, saying, "There, pay it off." She paid it off, and that's not who he is. And he says he's not Uzumaki, and he's from the Hidden Leaf Village. Just if he's here for her, and he says, "Yeah, Jiraiya's with him too, but he's at a hotel asleep." So somebody says, "Oh, well, what does the Hidden Leaf want me for? Someone to get injured?" And I says, "Oh no, we honestly just need a new Hokage." Yes, if he was indicted or something, he says, no, but he did step down due to him feeling bad about to have an attack on the village, and it almost worked if I wasn't there. She thinks that Naruto's bluffing, but was going to humor him by going to see Jiraiya. Jiraiya woke up like 5 minutes before they got in the room, and so now she does question Jiraiya on Naruto's skill and ask if it's true, and then, well, he says, yeah, it's all true. Jiraiya even says that even if he uses Sage mode, Naruto will probably still be stronger than him, but, yeah. So made shocked Tsunade and wanted to fight Naruto for herself. If she fights Naruto, she loses horribly. So, yeah. So with this, well, Naruto would eventually just go and, he beats Tsunade. Eventually she does return to Konoha, as they made a bet. The bet she made was just if she loses, Naruto gives her... Not if she loses. If she wins, Naruto gives her all her money. If she loses, she becomes Hokage. And, well, he agreed. So Tsunade eventually lost, but she becomes Hokage. And yeah. So with this, well, she just did Konoha, Tsunade becomes Hokage. Sasuke eventually is able to get her to heal Kakashi. He woke up and he's kind of just tired, but yeah. So Naruto would just go and I guess, well, Sasuke is still taken by Orochimaru. So Sasuke's still taken by Orochimaru despite not having much hatred, but still, if Sasuke just put Sasuke has a better connection with Kakashi because Kakashi would go to Sasuke's house and personally train him. Really, Kakashi having more of a familial bond. But if Itachi is so strong, he was able to do this to Kakashi, he wants revenge. And the Hidden Leaf for sure will not allow him to get the revenge. So he's going to do the only thing he thought possible, and not only thing thought possible, but the one thing he's offered, and go to Orochimaru. Goes with them, and yeah, as he goes with them, eventually the Toxic Retrieval arc would go about. But Naruto is the team leader, as he was made a Jonin. So it took a bit of pending, but he's Jonin. He gives rank of Jonin. Or Sasuke left, he's given the rank of Chunin. Basically, a lot of Konoha 12 with Naruto's advice and the training that they took to follow that advice to a T. They either become all Jonin or all become Chunin. There's not one of them who was still a Genin. So yeah. So Naruto, Jonin, Sasuke, Chunin, Sakura with her Genjutsu. She became a Jonin. Let me figure this out real quick. Well, the Sasuke retrieval team is going to be a bit different. Naruto takes shinobi he thinks need a better chance to prove themselves worthy of the rank of Chunin, even if they fail the Chunin exams. You guys may be questioning why Sasuke is a Chunin and Sakura is a Jonin. Well, Sakura did ask Tsunade to train her, and Tsunade tested Sakura's skills. Sakura's strength is already pretty impressive, so is her speed. Her Genjutsu expands all the way up to A rank now. Plus, she's almost on par with Kurenai's Genjutsu if it's between D and B. So, Kurenai's a Jonin. Her Genjutsu is already really good. Sakura is at best a low Jonin. Sasuke, if he didn't leave, would have been promoted to Jonin. But all they can do is give him credit for passing the Chunin exams. So he's Chunin. Then Lee, Jonin. So Lee's Jonin the fact that he's pushed the 7th gate. That's already Jonin enough. Shikamaru, well, the whole Naruto clan vouched for him. Like, even Naruto vouches for him, and he beat Temari. Because I said before, in the Force of Death, he already had a farther reaching shadow. So yeah. Choji's a Chunin. So I'm gonna go over the Sasuke retrieval team. Naruto, team leader. Choji's on the team. Kiba's on the team. Ino's on the team. Shino's on the team, and Hinata's on the team. Those 6. This is the whole retrieval team. Yeah, Choji's a Chunin. He didn't pass, but once the mission is over, he'll be given the chance to prove he's worthy of Chunin, possibly Jonin, but he won't. And Neji's a Jonin. He's vouched by Hiyashi. He's a Jonin. So yeah, Kiba didn't pass, so we don't know yet. Ino didn't pass. Shino didn't pass. Well, no, he didn't even fight yet. he didn't even get to fight. He just passed because his opponent forfeited, so they didn't promote him. And then we have Tenten, who's a Chunin. Well, she didn't pass, but I can honestly see either just someone vouching from a different team for her. I honestly see just like Sakura encouraging all the girls to be trained by Tsunade, become students of Tsunade. I can see just Tsunade vouching for Tenten that she's at least like close to Chunin level. So yeah. But then Hinata needs a chance to prove herself worthy of Chunin, so yeah. Tenten did pass she did fail the prelims, like a lot of characters here, but she ended up proving to be really good at summoning, and then without many summonings, and then being able to master weapons as quickly. Chunin, pretty easily. So yeah, the Chunin. But the real mission. So first fight against Jirobo. Still Choji, but Choji's a tad bit stronger. And Choji only needs 1 pill less than Cannon to beat Jirobo, but he still did pass out from exhaustion. Then after that would be Kidomaru. Kidomaru, instead of Choji, would fight against... I'm gonna say Kidomaru fights against Shino. Arachnid versus Bugs. And then, after Kidomaru, it would be Sakon and Ukon. Sakon and Ukon would fight against Kiba. And then, we would have against... Kiba still. But then to avoid Kankuro coming in clutch, we're going to put Ino with him. So Ino and Kiba. So Ino and Kiba together. Then it's Hinata versus Kimimaru. You guys may think that's a weird matchup, but just wait and see how I handle it. Pause one time. So Hinata versus Kimimaru. From this fight, basically, when Kimimaru would interrupt Naruto, one is just Naruto on Kimimaru like one-on-one. But eventually Naruto ends up running away, telling Kimimaru that when he's sick, he has no chance of winning. He tells Kimimaru to consider being healed. That Naruto eventually was actually able to use Ope-Ope and Kimimaru, actually heal a lot of his body, telling Kimimaru that it's only given for now. It should last him to head back to Orochimaru if they lose. Himaru actually feels a bit better, and actually able he can breathe and move around better. But this is like just experimenting with like this is him feeling this is good in a long time. He's being ambushed by Hinata, being nailed right in the side, being sent flying away. There's one about Tayuya. Tayuya got manhandled. There's no effort in that. Hinata slapped her. The Byakugan can see through Beta Genjutsu, and then Hinata is also training with Neji 24/7, and then also just training with Naruto occasionally. Tips was also on Genjutsu when they all fought Naruto not one-on-one, but Naruto basically just getting attacked Naruto, but he beat them all down. So Hinata's only weakness was Genjutsu. So Hinata had to basically just work on Genjutsu, and she became immune to it, but not good at using it. So yeah. So with this, Hinata basically just, she doesn't like one-tap her, but doesn't take many hits to beat her. Pause one more time. So it doesn't take many hits to beat Tayuya. Even if it came like those giant, like, weird things, all Hinata needs to do is just basically hit and throw. She has enough speed and strength to do that. Even when it came to like those weird ghost things, her Byakugan was able to track them constantly. She's able to dodge them all, which is lead to her actually being able to get a good hit on Tayuya, beating her. And it took her like 5 minutes tops. During that time, Naruto killed Kimimaro a bit. When she arrived, hit Kimimaro in the side, but then basically began yelling him in one of his arms for chakra points. But then, she actually able to basically be able to actually reverse or counter a lot of his attacks. There was enough countering until someone else arrived. By the time someone else did arrive, people that arrived happened to be a lot of them. Toji is skinny, but he arrived. Shino, he arrived. Shino basically drained Kidomaru of all the chakra, then killed him. Toji, Shino, Kiba arrived, carrying Ino. They all arrived. They all defeated their opponent. The way that Kiba beat Attack on Ukon, basically, Ino basically hit while Kiba fought them both like 1-on-2. One's able to use mention Jutsu on one of them, which allowed Kiba to actually just yell for Ino, sorry for hurting her. Well, he actually nails Sakon right in the face, but actually was able to cancel out her own jutsu right as Kiba landed a punch. It's not enough force to knock out Sakon and send him flying into the water, making him basically drown. Eventually, he's actually able to hold off. Ukon for a bit until Ino wakes up. With that, he actually was able to hold Ukon in place until Ino ran and jabbed a kunai right into his back. And that's before he was able to go full power and actually use that fusing thing. But immediately, Kiba basically flipped him into the ocean, not the ocean, but in like a river, letting him drown. So yeah. Kiba was actually pretty tired, and Ino was also pretty tired from basically passing out and getting punched by Kiba at the same time as well. But yeah. So then you guys went about Shino, just like before, drained all the chakra and killed him. Toji beat Drobble the same way, just minus 1 pill. And kind of just in the fights. Now, Hinata couldn't beat Kimimaro on her own, but she was able to shut down one of his arms. But with this, he tries to go for another attack. Suddenly Kiba would nail him in the same arm. That was actually, this chakra chunk out, which is fighting over Fang, sending him flying far back. With him flying far back, suddenly, I guess he's even going to basically him looking up at Kiba. But then, this looks like Kiba. He's hit with Mind Transfer Jutsu, and then, with Mind Transfer, he's actually not able to control it, until eventually he forces Ino out of his mind. There's actually no time for Shino to surrender what bugs me during his chakra. But then, they all jumped up, and they all began shouting kunais into each and every part of his body. And with that, was actually no time for him, that was more than enough time for them all to get kunais and stab him. By the time he's always stabbed constantly over and over, he eventually, they'll let go, and he falls over, just dead. He wasn't able to get on guard in time. So they all just teamed up and killed him. Naruto versus Sasuke, Naruto abuses Sasuke, but the reason that he actually lost, Kabuto and Orochimaru. But him after walking over to beat up Sasuke, Sasuke can get one tap, even in his KCM mode, he can get one tap by Naruto. It's no effort. Sasuke will just basically go full power not KCM, but Grid Smart mode. Dash at Naruto. Boom, one tails, one punch. Boom, he's dead. So that's all it takes from Naruto. And he did just that to not to keep up, but to Sasuke. He's walk over to get him, and he's pumped right in the side. But then he feels like he can't. He just coughs up blood when he's hit, which is weird for him. Until suddenly, some arms wrap around him, and he slammed into a wall. Him slammed into a wall. He eventually would pass out. Well, not pass out, but these arms around him. He slammed into a wall, almost passing out. Someone actually grabs him and draining his chakra completely. With the arms still being wrapped around him, he starts to basically pull the arms off and grab the person holding him, but there's the arms actually extended. This would be Yoroi and Tsurugi. Kabuto would walk over to Naruto, and they should be hitting him in the chest with his jutsu that basically severs tendons, severs bone, anything. While being hit by this 24/7, he actually passes out and is on the verge of death. With that, Yoroi and Tsurugi let go of Naruto, letting him plummet into the water. But suddenly Kakashi would arrive, stabbing Yoroi right in the chest, and hitting Tsurugi in the back with his Chidori. Kabuto was able to escape with Orochimaru holding Sasuke. Kakashi focused on Naruto, who's on the ground, basically bleeding everywhere. Not on the ground, but basically floating and just bleeding everywhere. Kakashi pick up Naruto, running to the hidden leaf as fast as possible. Oh, just basically telling everyone, like, he's ran past, like, basically the whole Sasuke was yelling, Naruto's dying, go, 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 go. And they'll be running. So this will be running. They're up to the hidden leaf. With Naruto's body basically self-healing, but still, it'd take a while before it's sped up. But the Nine Tails and Naruto talk in his mind. Naruto and the Nine Tails talking, well, it is a bit troubling, so to say. Naruto's begging the Nine Tails to actually heal him, so his team isn't worried. Naruto says, oh, they're already worried enough. Kakashi picked you up and ran you by them, yelling, you're gonna die. The main Naruto just scoff, but asks the Nine Tails a different question. What would happen if he takes the seal off? Naruto's smirking, saying, you don't know until you try, don't you, brat? Naruto jumped up, tearing the seal off. With that, before he can tear it fully off, Minato pushed Naruto back down, and Naruto and Minato have the whole discussion, but Minato doesn't hit, but Naruto explains that he thanks Minato for the blessing in the Nine Tails. This confused Minato, looks at the Nine Tails, thinks like Genjutsu, so Naruto explained Naruto's like whole philosophy and everything. This made Minato very happy, and explained to Naruto that the old man who trained Naruto was also the one who helped him with training the Nine Tails. So Naruto just thought it was a really fun connection that Minato had to, well, Mr. Law. But this, Minato asked Naruto why he wanted to tear the seal off, and Naruto says he wants to beat the Nine Tails, or at least see where he fared against it. It's already surpassed Jiraiya at full power. Minato heard this, he's like, well, how many tails can you use? Naruto's like, at least 4? 3, 4? I mean, this is like, doesn't it take that many tails for you to beat Jiraiya? I was like, yeah, probably just about that. So with this, Naruto also says that Law taught him all of his abilities. So Naruto should be able to. So Naruto's like, well, Law taught me all of his abilities, so I should be able to at least use them to a decent degree. Naruto would smile, and with him having no time, he actually tears the seal clean off and then opens it. So Naruto doesn't have to get the key. Well, the Nine Tails would dash right out Naruto, and Naruto then says no matter how well we know each other, not how well we know each other, but no matter how much of acquaintances we are, we still have to fight, not holding anything back. Nine Tails agreed, as he ready to Bijudama, firing at Naruto, but Naruto swapped places with it, letting the Bijudama hit the wall behind him. But with that shockwave, Naruto sent flying right towards Kurama. But Naruto immediately would yell, Ender's Blade, as his sword's coated in lightning. Naruto then slashes the Nine Tails' tail, almost cutting it clean off. Kurama didn't expect the blade to be this long. He forgot how well Naruto has been training. So Naruto's Ender's Blade is a lot longer, and she almost cuts one of the tails off. Kurama yelled in pain, until Naruto coating the electricity thing in Gamma Knife, and then slamming it right into the back of the Nine Tails, and cutting up, making the Nine Tails, and she basically yell in pain. Naruto landed behind Kurama, we'll try to, but the Nine Tails flipped around. But Naruto expected that, and then told the Nine Tails, say goodnight. But Naruto then yelled, Odama Rasengan, nailing it right into the face of the Nine Tails. Well, not Odama, but basically it's going to be Odama, which is his giant Rasengan. Later, the Nine Tails were in the face with it, sending the Nine Tails flying back. Naruto then made all of his clones, as they all get ready with Jutsu and ready. Basically just Ender's Gamma Blade, and then Odama Rasengan. With that, they'll come with the Nine Tails with it, till the Nine Tails is almost dead. When they're done, Naruto eventually would use room and begin healing the Nine Tails. Naruto basically sent chakra throughout the whole room, and then it healed the Nine Tails. With this, Naruto eventually pulls the chakra out of all the tails, and Naruto says, take it all, you earned it. But when Naruto's put in the hospital bed, he's suddenly flashing KCM, and he stands up, just saying, well, that hit me fully, didn't it? Yes, no, Naruto waited to do it before, and he says, oh, that's because I just beat the Nine Tails. Well, they didn't, not a lot of them knew who was talking about, but Shikamaru was there, like, all the Konoha 12 were there, besides Sasuke. Well, I say Konoha 13 because I count Sai, but Sai's not introduced yet, so Konoha 11, but... Well, plus Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Hiruzen, and Danzo, the elder, he was there because he wanted to see Naruto. We don't hear that Naruto beat the Nine Tails. Very few people knew what he was talking about. Hiruzen says, does that mean you mastered it? And Naruto says, well, yeah, I mean him reach an understanding after I beat him. So now I can use any extra chakra that he has to my own will. Also, we have some talking to do, old man. And Jiraiya. And Kakashi. You especially. Very much you. Okay, he pulls Hiruzen, Jiraiya, and Kakashi out of the room and talks to them on the roof about who his parents are. Hiruzen admits it. Oh wait, Naruto will unlock KCM 2 a bit later. When he unlocks KCM 2 is when he'll meet Kushina. So yeah, that was like a bit different kind of training. But Naruto would eventually talk to them and they reveal everything and he understands why. Just wanted to know why they couldn't tell him after the Chunin exams. Like, right after they could have told him because he was strong enough to do so. He can handle himself. If he can beat Jiraiya, he can handle his dad's enemies. Just probably not the right Kage, but his other enemies, hell yeah, easy. So yeah. Pause real quick. So I guess when everything in Naruto, eventually he's like, I can handle them all besides the right Kage, and yeah, so on and so forth. The 2-year time skip does begin. During this time skip, Naruto eventually went to Mount Miboku just to learn like he went to Mount Miboku just to learn Sage Mode, but he eventually discovered what was it? He went to discover Sage Mode, but during the time he discovered KCM 2, he met Kushina. That goes pretty much the same way as in canon. Just he doesn't think it's Kurama. He can tell who this is. So yeah. So yeah, so I guess that's really just it. He mastered Sage Mode at the same amount of time, actually probably even earlier. So Naruto is basically just able to master Sage Mode in like 2-3 days. It takes like I'll say honestly 2 days, just how well Naruto is. How well that Naruto learns, it's pretty easy. Just 2 years passes, but Naruto learning everything he needed to learn. Like he basically learned everything that Jiraiya knows. Because he's smarter than Jiraiya, and he even helped Jiraiya write books because he spied on people for Jiraiya. The way he spied on helped Jiraiya spy is he taught Jiraiya sexy jutsu. When Jiraiya got like a bloody nose in the bath, they assumed that Jiraiya was some perverted women who liked other women, or some woman who liked other women. But yeah, that's kind of what they thought Jiraiya was, not some other guy. That was kind of just like the main thing about it. But with this, well, Jiraiya's books are better written, makes a lot more money. Plus, Naruto already had a lot of money either way, so yeah. But one major thing is that, well, one, all the Konoha 12 but Sasuke became Jonin. All of them did. Hell, even Tenten is a Jonin now. Because, well, Tenten, Hinata, Ino, and Sakura all studied under Tsunade. Rock Lee's arm was just regularly broken. I should have forgot about that. He didn't have a broken arm anymore. I forgot about that. So Rock Lee's arm wasn't even broken anymore, actually. All he did was study the 8 gates even harder and train with Might Guy even more. So yeah, so Rock Lee trained that whole month with Might Guy for the Chunin exams. He could have unlocked the 7th gate perfectly or normally during that time. By the time the whole 2 years has ended, Rock Lee can use the 8 gates. He's just about as strong as canonical Might Guy. The only difference is that this guy is stronger is that he had Anbu training. The only difference is why he's stronger than Kanen's Anbu training. Also stronger because of Anbu training, which means he probably won't die against Hidan. Yeah, so basically, there's no one who needs a sensei besides Sasuke. And honestly, the only person that Sasuke cannot beat, not cannot, the only person that he can beat in the Konoha 12 is literally just, it's probably just Tenten, Tenten, Kiba, and Choji. Just those are the ones he can beat. Everyone else is stronger or smarter than him, and they could devise strategies or simply just more powerful in general to beat him. Choji's about pretty close in power with all the jutsu he knows, but he's not smart. That's the only thing that drags him down. But yeah. So with this, well, I guess that's it. Sorry, I'm writing them down real quick. Okay, done. So, but I'm running notes on like just on like on a new video, which is a viral hit. What if it's not gonna be a viral hit, but it's for the manhwa viral hit or how to fight. So yeah. Now with this, we go on to the next arc. But I over one major thing. Well, also trains. Well, not trained actually. He doesn't really need to train anymore. All he did was just evolve his techniques and master his devil fruit. Not master, but awaken his devil fruit. Like he had it in like 13. He's 16 now, but still. But in case I'm curious about Zabuza and Haku. Haku still trains Sakura, even taught Sakura Ice Release. Sakura kind of developed her own version, being Frost Release. It's basically a very low level version of Ice Release. The difference is that, well, Ice Release is more. Ice Release is more versatile, while Frost Release is more deadly. But yeah. Then Zabuza stuck to training still, but he also being Kakashi's partner, since Kakashi is now like, well, there's a whole new Anbu squad formed that's led by Kakashi. This Anbu squad is part of Dry's information network, and they all kind of just go everywhere. Like every single sensei is now part of that squad. Like Kurenai joined it. Zabuza's in it now. He's actually the right hand man of Kakashi. Yamato's in it. Sai even joined it because Danzo thought it'd be cool to have Sai join just to not lure, but to get info on it. But Naruto this time actually visited Gaara due to him being in the Hidden Sand and an ally. So, with him being an ally of the Hidden Sand and being an ally of Gaara, we went there and trained with Gaara, Tamari, and Kankuro. So he even gave him a few tips. And Gaara's taijutsu is like massively improved to be about as well as like Kid Rock Lee. So still pretty impressive. Not super impressive considering his age, but still pretty impressive. So yeah, now with this, well, we can probably go on to Naruto and well, first Naruto told Gaara he mastered the Nine Tails, which leads to him actually trying to help Gaara master the One Tails. But Naruto also leveled the small piece of Kurama with Gaara. Allowing Gaara to actually tap into the chakra, like he bodied the chakra to Shikaku. Then Gaara can tap into that, going up to when it goes like the whole tail cloak, it'd go to like one tail, but then with the Nine Tails chakra now, it can actually go about to three tails. So Gaara can have the tail beast form that's three tails with Kurama's chakra bonded to the Shukaku. So yeah. With this, well, we can probably just move on to the Cosmic Control mission where there's no mission to do that. Like, Gaara can throw hands extremely well. Like, inhumanly well. So, with that, well, Gaara is really, like, even if Data got close, Gaara can throw hands, he's really fast. His strength is already inhuman now. But he has the one tails cloak going up to one tail, but then two, three tails, and then, well, Data can't handle that and loses. So Data almost died. Alright, pause. So when it came to Gaara, Data basically died. There's no way Data's escaping Gaara who can actually go up to go to like a three-tailed cloak, despite not even having the three tails, and kill him. So yeah, Deidara died. But then when it came down to sorcery, Gaara could actually sense him with the help of just the chakra of the one tails, and then a bit of the nine tails, and point out where he was, which led to all a fight between Kankuro and sorcery. Kankuro being trained with Chiyo, and will start training with Naruto, then actually led to him actually getting encouraged to not spar, but train with Chiyo. We actually led to Kankuro being an exact match for Chiyo. Not Chiyo, I mean, not for Kankuro, fuck. For sorcery, and sorcery had more puppets, but Kankuro was able to overcome them all with just his sheer power of his puppets. Well, by the time he actually passed out from exhaustion of using chakra, so sorcery just ran out of puppets. But eventually, Gaara was able to use sand and crush down the puppet, and it killed sorcery. Not killed him, but it's able to actually they're able to defeat him, and then those are able to actually let I don't know how I'd phrase it other than the puppets basically they keep sorcery alive just to extract information from him. So to extract information from him, they do everything, and yeah. So sorcery is interrogated. They get the information of Tenichi Bridge. They inform Konoha. When Konoha is informed, that it's not the same team, but Kakashi insists on sending Sai with Naruto. Sai thinks thinks he's like the leader of the team, so Kakashi says, "No, it's Naruto." Sai does question this, and Sai's like, "Well, why is he the leader if I'm in the Yambu and he's not? And I'm under you, I train with you, so I'm stronger, right?" Kakashi ended up laughing, saying, at this point, with how well Naruto trained, well, Naruto training with Naruto fighting me would end in like a one-sided slaughter, no matter how it happened. So, with this, well, Naruto basically in the eyes of Sai, Naruto is stronger than Kakashi. Usually, actually, just saw Sai being like curious and fight against out of curiosity they fight, and then Sai lost to Kakashi pretty horribly. So yeah. But with that, the Tenchi Bridge mission goes actually pretty poor normal, not poor, per normal, with Yamato still being on the team, just not just the leader. So yeah, mission goes to normal until Sai came out. Until Orochimaru came out to fight. But when Orochimaru came out, we see Kabuto, but he got exposed to Orochimaru's DNA and everyone else's DNA a lot earlier. So yeah. But with this, well, we just see a fight between just I guess Kabuto, and Kabuto fights against Sakura, Yamato, and Sai, who are all Jonin. They're all Jonin. Two of them are Anbu, one of them's a Jonin, trained by Tsunade. Then we see Naruto, who fights against Orochimaru, and Naruto, not even powering up Sage Mode even, is beating down Orochimaru with no effort, not even using any jutsu, just sheer strength, speed, and agility is enough to beat down Orochimaru. At one point, Naruto would channel up a Rasengan, but then hold it up in the air, and then say, Resend Sun. With this, Naruto ends up basically making a giant Rasengan, basically bigger than the giant Rasengan that Naruto's whole tailed beast avatar did? The Rasengan is about as big as that. But then Naruto lit it on fire, and then basically just told Orochimaru he'd run. Maybe Tadashi tried to retreat, and Naruto basically just jump in the air and slam it into the ground, basically creating a whole new valley in the area. Shockwave would send Team 7 flying back, but Yamato was able to use wood, actually be able to help them up, but basically help them retreat. But Naruto already knew Sakura had a plan in case of a large-scale attack like this. He knew she would. So, this she summons Lady Katsuyu, who desummons them all to Mount Miboku, to the Slug Forest. They arrive there, and, well, Naruto eventually did the scroll, and Naruto is eventually able to channel chakra into it, and it summons back Sakura, Yamato, and Sai. So with this, Sakura, Yamato, and Sai appear again, and they ask about Orochimaru. But Kabuto basically just got hit by the shockwave of this and got sent flying away. But Naruto's able to sense out where Kabuto is, saying he's barely alive, but tells Sakura to go heal him. She runs and finds him, heals him. That's about Orochimaru, and Naruto says he probably got hit head on by one of the waves of flames that got shot out. Naruto found Orochimaru's body. He isn't dead, but he's barely alive, and his body is basically just completely scorched. And the way he scorched, Naruto says he got hit by the first wave of flames. No, Naruto had basically used the Rasen Sun. Well, when it lands, it basically sends out shockwaves. Shockwaves in shapes of flames. Kabuto got hit by the last wave, which actually didn't do any burns at all. There's barely any burn. Well, Orochimaru was hit by the first wave, which is basically just blue flames being shot out. First wave basically evolved flames, and the other flames are basically just flames that are dying down. But yeah, getting hit head on by the Rasen Sun, well, you're incinerated. So yeah, you're crushed then incinerated. Like imagine being under a hydraulic press, but then being stuffed into a furnace at the same time. But yeah, that's basically what our sun is: a furnace, and a compactor. So with this, Naruto basically is able to, well, I guess detain Orochimaru. But first, he puts him under Genjutsu. It's able to help to have basically just extract information. Once he gets to the Genjutsu, Naruto makes his way over to the base. We get two Ito, Sai, Sakura, and Yamato to go do their thing at Sasuke. If you guys heard me before, the people that Sasuke can beat in the Konoha 12 currently are Hinata, Tenten, Ino, Kiba, and Choji. Those are the only ones he can beat. The ones he'll match with: Hinata, Shino, Neji, Shikamaru, and that is it. I think I said Neji too. But Lee, Sakura, and Naruto. Those three are the ones that Sasuke never has a hope of winning with the training he got. He had the same amount of training as in canon. It's just he already had he had 3 too many Sharingan, just he didn't unlock it in the battle at the end. It took him a long time to unlock it, which he did decrease his training amount. He trained really hard to unlock it, but then his training was a bit shortened because he couldn't do anything else. So yeah, um, so with this basically, we just go on to Sakura walking in the base, Yamato walking beside her. Yamato is just about equal to Sasuke, like equal to him. Then Sai is weaker than anyone on this team. Like Sai is just about Kabuto level, and that's about it. Not this Kabuto, like canonical Kabuto in this arc level. So with this, well, we just see like this Sai fighting Sasuke first, fight Sasuke, he loses. But then eventually, when Sasuke hears that whole like crater, he looks up and then sees a giant piece of rope be thrown right at him, and he dodges it. He's Sakura, and Sakura says it pains her to fight against a friend. So with that, Yamato says he'll fight first, wear him down, and it'd be wise for Sakura not to waste her very valuable energy. With that, Yamato and Sasuke fight, and Sasuke and Sasuke and Yamato basically have like a draw. But Sasuke has no chakra left to use Kirin. He uses it. Suddenly, he looks up, and then sees something very interesting. Very interesting thing, I guess, is how am I going to phrase it? Very interesting thing is basically just chakra ends up basically. Chakra basically flares around the fist of Sakura, and she punches the Kirin, and then she disperses it. That she lands, and with her training from Naruto, and then with everyone else, from Naruto, from Kurenai, from Tsunade, plus with Ino and everyone else because they trained as a group, even Hinata, her chakra levels are through the roof at this point. They're higher than average. They're not as high as like Naruto's or anything, or canonical Naruto's, but they're still really high. I think her chakra levels are just about like I think the chakra levels I can compare her to are likely like I don't know what to say. I'll think about it really hard. Fuck, this harder than I thought it would be. Fucking. We can say like, I guess Kakashi. I'll give her Kakashi. So yeah. So she had better control, but the same amount of chakras Kakashi is able to basically punch away Kirin with no effort. Then she landed and punched Sasuke in the face, knocking him out, and then she drags him off with Naruto still waiting outside, holding Orochimaru and Kabuto captive in a scroll. Now with this, about to Konoha, Sasuke's put in that scroll. Naruto opens the scroll, sends them all out into the prison. And Mikoto would see Sasuke and visit him for the first time in a while. So yeah. Now this is Sakatsuki's suppression, but, well, we have a stronger team. The leader happens to be Shikamaru. But under him would be, it would be Asuma, Uzumo, Kotetsu, and placing the one miscellaneous Nara. Replacing that one little miscellaneous guy. It's going to be another Jonin, Shino Aburame. So Shino joins the team, and, yeah. So when Shino joins the team, well, yeah. So Shino on the team, well, when it came down to basically the jutsu that he's not about to use, basically the one that would, the circle. Well, we honestly see like just Hidan basically covered in bugs. The one he tried to stab himself. Because when Shino realized that the flames wouldn't affect Hidan, but it would affect Asuma, he should have surrounded bugs in the area and began covering Hidan with it. I mean, he actually jumped back, realizing he basically just being bitten all over. Not bitten, but basically just covered in it. With him being covered in chakra, not chakra in bugs, he would roll back and just like not liking bugs, I guess. But with that, we suddenly just see one of Asuma's things be thrown. I guess it's like knife and rational thing, and it gets sent like flying like right through Hidan's head. But Hidan's out of the circle, so it didn't affect Asuma at all. With that, Asuma eventually runs and jumps right landing right in the kunai and shoves it through the head of Hidan, completely pinning him to the ground. So yeah. With that, he basically breaks both Hidan's arms severely, and Hidan can no longer really do this. He can't really move his arms at all. And she's able to hold him in place, and we then see So with this, we basically just see we see Kakuzu fighting against Shikamaru and Izumo Kotetsu. So with this, well, when they fight him, they win. Only difference is, well, they forgot Kakuzu had his real heart left. They don't skip over that because it was such a strong fight. So Hidan is detained, and they think Kakuzu's dead, but Kakuzu basically just went through so much pain and suffering with Shikamaru, Izumo Kotetsu, that he just passed out. So with Hidan being dragged away, he doesn't know that Kakuzu isn't dead. He thinks he's dead. But yeah, so Hidan's detained. He gives up info after the torture, and now Naruto insists on going after Itachi. Now with this, Naruto basically got some secret info from our boy Sai. Now Kakashi is actually able to grab the seal find out about the seal on Sai's tongue, and then bring Sai over to the Hyuga, the other few seal masters, one of them being Naruto actually. Because one thing I didn't mention about Naruto was able to make seals. These seals look like tattoos. Basically, all these seals are the tattoos that Law has, like the surgeon and death tattoos, like the death tattoos that Law has. Naruto basically has all these, but each one basically activates a different. Like when he just activates a seal, each one would basically just So each one just activates a different ability of Naruto's room if he's in it. It doesn't have to say it or do a certain motion. It's just talking to one of his a certain part of his hand, and then the ability activated, and then another Naruto can act upon it. So yeah. But Naruto would basically just get with the help of Jiraiya, that would actually remove the seal perfectly. And with this, with that happening, so with this, with the information from Sai, they're actually able to find out that Danzo it's not actually uncommon. Mirza Amba actually bragged about killing Uchiha. And Naruto already knew about that, so the target is Itachi. But first, what Naruto does before he leaves is he rats that information to Sasuke. And Sasuke is just irritated, to say the least. Sasuke actually feeling this much pain and suffering that someone so close in the village feels. He is just like Sasuke just feels pain and agony and just rage that he figured out who did it. He wants to kill them. But Sasuke got his rage, pain, and anger, with Miyoto actually listening, and then hearing his mother cry over this, that the village official would do this. He usually would knock his Mangekyo just through hearing his mother cry, hearing Izumi cry, but then just hearing about who did it. And Sasuke weakens Mangekyo. Eventually, we don't know what Sasuke's ability would be besides flame control, so I'm going to say he gets Amaterasu by default. And with this, he eventually was actually able to basically Amaterasu off the door and then cancel out Amaterasu by stepping out saying he's going to kill Danto. But Naruto's out there saying, no, he's going after Itachi. So yeah. So with this, Naruto basically just will tell Sasuke he's going to go after Itachi with the help of, well, Naruto's going after Itachi with the help of Sakura, Lee, and Neji. And with this, Sasuke says he's going with them as they head after Itachi. So yeah. So Naruto basically also had info from Orochimaru about all of the bases that he had. And Naruto basically just ran out and took out all the bases in the process. But also in that process, he gathered a crew of Kimimaro. He gathered a crew of Kimimaro, of Jirobo, of Jugo, Suigetsu, and Karin. Karin joined because Naruto's honestly kind of hot to her. Jugo joined because of Sasuke, Suigetsu joined because of Sasuke as well, also because Naruto's really cool. Plus, Naruto is a sheer really strong swordsman. And we also hear that Zabuza is in Konoha, and now that Naruto beat Zabuza with his one blade, he wants to just see Naruto and Zabuza fight again, to see how strong Zabuza got after training in the Yambu. But Haku kind of dropped out being a shinobi. She isn't really kind of having it out, because she mainly sticks to being Sakura's teacher. That's really just it. Either the Itachi pursuit mission goes per normal after this, just know there's no versus Deidara fight. Instead, to replace versus Deidara, it is versus Kabuto and Kakuzu. Basically, Kabuto escaped. No one knew how, but he did. Basically, Orochimaru didn't realize that Kabuto there's the summoning seal still. Because no one really viewed Kabuto as a threat. They didn't realize that he had all the DNA inside of him just yet from everyone. So yeah, with this, basically, Kabuto's actually able to use some of the DNA. And actually, he's able to get out of the chains and then just basically summon a snake, and the snake reverse summons into Mamiboku. Not Mamiboku, which is the Ryuchi cave. Now Kabuto escapes, and he didn't go back to Orochimaru just yet. But Kakuzu and Kabuto fight against Naruto. But then Kabuto would see Sasuke there, and Sasuke joined him again, but Sasuke just jumps at him. Then says, I heard Orochimaru worked with Danzo. For that, I'm going to kill you and then him. Before Kabuto can even evade the strike, he's hit by Amaterasu, and can't get off of him until he tears his cloak off and dashes at Sasuke. At this point, Sasuke basically has Amaterasu, and not obviously, he has Mangekyo, but we have Kabuto is actually fully evolved at this point. So long as he's fully evolved. Then when completely evolved, he beats Sasuke, but then has to fight against Rock Lee, who shoots into the fourth gate, and beats the mess out of Kabuto. Kabuto eventually is on the winning side after that, but he's on the winning side, but he's actually able to push back in the fourth gate, so having everything beaten up out of him. But eventually, he just began going all out, even using Sage Mode, as you learn that in Ryuchi Cave, and Rock Lee shot in the sixth gate, saying that this should take you out in one shot. Suddenly, in with motion, Rock Lee hits Kabuto right in the chest with it, shattering all of his ribs and punching a hole clean through him. And the force that Rock Lee used, Kabuto falls to the ground without a pulse. Rock Lee officially killed Kabuto. Kakuzu would attack them, as he has the 5 hearts still gain 5 more hearts. Oh, for him to look at look at Kakuzu. But suddenly, with five quick thrusts, of the sword, all Kakuzu's hearts are suddenly just stabbed, and he falls to the ground dead. So, yeah. Kakuzu's just dead. And no one even saw Naruto move. Until they do find Itachi, and Kisame didn't expect this many people. He expected a whole crew of Orochimaru's guys, but not Hidden Leaf Anbu. Because Naruto eventually put on Anbu gear, so. It's one where Naruto looks exactly like this, just Kikaku replaces the miscellaneous Anbu sword. So it's just mirrored as like from this distance, Naruto's face looks different, then up close it looks completely different. But never mind that. Naruto would eventually just look at Kisame, and Naruto would eventually just hand his sword over to Suigetsu. Suigetsu is then told that, well, Naruto basically tells Suigetsu the blade can't break. The hilt can, but that's it. You guys wondering about Kisame's beating from Light Guy previously? Kisame trained a bit after that. The only difference is that Rock Lee and Kisame are about equals now. If Kisame would go all out, Rock Lee would need to go all out using the 8th gate. But yeah. So with this, we just see, we see Kisame and Kisame and Suigetsu fight. Eventually, Naruto is actually able to dash in and snatch the sword from Suigetsu. It then almost cut the leg off of Kisame and kick him in the face, knocking him out. So yeah. Now with that knocking out Suigetsu knocking out Kisame, Naruto then tells Sasuke that everyone look inside and not be here for a fight. But you know he feels strong Genjutsu presence. So Naruto's basically flaring out the Nine-Tails chakra and making sure the Genjutsu is cancelled immediately. Pause. So Naruto's flying the Nine-Tails chakra as he walks into the building Itachi's in. But Sasuke disabled a Sharingan, he's just not going to fight. Even though Sasuke is basically immune to Genjutsu, it doesn't really matter. Like, basically, anyone who's trained with Naruto for over a month, with him being good at Genjutsu and preferring to use it occasionally, being immune to Genjutsu is kind of like an auto thing. Sakura is basically immune to Genjutsu. Not basically, she is completely immune to Genjutsu besides Infinite Tsukuyomi. It's only Genjutsu that'll get her. And then we would have Sasuke, who's basically the same thing. Tsukuyomi and Infinite Tsukuyomi. Only 2 things that can get him. Like anything else, they can literally shrug it off in 2 seconds. No effort. And basically, the whole team that Naruto's with right now can shrug it off besides Rock Lee, probably. Because I don't think Rock Lee changes anything else besides just like Tatai Jutsu. So with this, basically, Sasuke tells Rock Lee. Like, basically, Itachi just started a fight until Sasuke says he knows the truth about Danzo. And Itachi then says, "Oh, I see. Did Hyushin tell you?" That's when Naruto says, "No, there's an ex-Anbu member on our squad, and he told us." So the Sasuke kind of dropped out of the Anbu, just become a regular Jonin. So yeah. But he heard that, he just smiled. Then told Sasuke like how's mom doing. And Sasuke then says, waiting for you to come back. Now let's go. I promised I'd bring you back to her. Now she nodded, but said he's still sick. Not said he's still, just said he's sick. And that he may not have time to make it back to Konoha unless they get there really fast. Say, oh yeah, I forgot about that. He suddenly hits Itachi right in the chest, but then Naruto chakra begins flowing through the body of Itachi. Before anyone knows what's happening anymore, Itachi then says, what happened? Then realizes he feels a lot better. He can breathe. He can move around better. Itachi's been touching the Naruto to shield him, and Naruto says, yeah, healing disease is pretty easy for him. I assume healing disease could be easy for Naruto due to the fact that Law could heal poisoning that he had. Then I assume disease probably isn't any different. But yeah. So with this, they have Konoha, but they bring Kisame along as Naruto healed Kisame. Well, not Konan. Karin healed Kisame. But Konoha and Kisame just with Zabuza there, he knows he trusts Zabuza. He agreed to actually just forfeit as long as he can be Zabuza's ally. So yeah. So with this, now I guess this kind of just leads to an alignment between Kisame and Itachi with the Hidden Leaf. But Kisame, well, this is all a fraud. Not a fraud, but a lie for him. Oh, pause for time. Alright, so, yeah, Kizumi's a spy. This is what they say. Kizumi's a spy for Obito because he was promised in Tsukuyomi a world without lies or betrayal. Kizumi refuses to give that up. But we go on to the tale of Dry the Gallant. But Jiraiya is overpowered with training with Naruto. Well, training with Naruto, training with Gaara, training with Conqueror, training with Temari. They're trained all around the Shinobi world. To the point where Jiraiya has all 5 chakra natures, mastered Sage Mode, OP Genjutsu of every rank. Jiraiya is just broken in just every single way. When Jiraiya fights against Pain and everyone else, he beats them all. So as he basically just gets everything, as he basically just beats Pain, he eventually does leave after he got all the information he needed. So yeah. But we go on to Sasuke and Itachi. So Jiraiya's on his way back to leave, and then Sasuke and Itachi are talking. But Itachi brings up the whole like eye transplant thing that Madara and Izuna did reportedly in Legends. They follow suit as they transplant their eyes, and they would both awaken the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and they both able to read the Uchiha Stone Tablet. Mikoto's happy to have both of her sons back, and Itachi's name is now cleared, as Danzo's put in the prison, but then executed by Sasuke and Itachi, both. Like, he fights them both with the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingans. He's basically sliced down and sliced apart over and over again, and he can't get away from them. Even when he tried to, it was Naruto using Ruin that kept him in the whole area. So yeah. So that was a very just how I say it. Phrasing the words is very hard for me. I don't know how, but I don't know why or how, but it is. Fuck. Basically just Danzo's killed. We go into the 5 Kage Summit. 5 Kage Summit goes. Wait, Pain Assault is after that. Yeah, Pain Assault. No, after, it's before that. But Pain doesn't attack Konoha. Naruto was thrown by Jiraiya, and Jiraiya talked him down using Takano Jutsu. Like Naruto has a way with words, but he's not gentle, and Jiraiya can admit that the way that Naruto talks is very good. So, yeah, Jiraiya kind of copied the Takano Jutsu, but in a more gentle way. Then he used it on Nagato. Nagato just didn't kill himself to sacrifice himself and everyone. Yeah. So with this, Naruto basically just went about, and I don't know what else. So with Naruto just going about doing his own thing, we can probably just have Naruto. So I guess we can just have Naruto just leave, but Konoha has to hide him really well, and well, Naruto has a place for them to hide. But Naruto doesn't trust Kisame, so he hides them in his own way. Dry and Naruto both help hide them. But it's like a bit of training for them to hide. First, they hide them on Mount Miboku. And it took Naruto actually making tons of seals. And him and Dry go through them all to the point where they find the perfect seal. And Konan and Nagato. Konan and everyone and Nagato are basically hidden on Mount Miboku with Yahiko's body. So with that, basically, the fish are basically hidden on Mount Miboku, but they're not affected by anything. And Naruto isn't letting them go until Obito's defeated. So yeah, or Madara is defeated. But we go into the 5 Kage Summit where it's interrupted by Obito saying he's going to declare war. But he wasn't prepared for the amount of Anbu that were there. He's going to hidden leave. Because basically, somebody did reveal that this place is basically just a lie, so they can lure out Madara, and they agree with that. Because this on Killer Bee was actually captured, but he was able to. He was captured but still escaped halfway through. But yeah. But Killer Bee is just hiding somewhere. Then there's maybe light of lightning. With this, Well, when Madara does burst in, before you even see even the Sharingan, his mask is punched, like he's punched right in the face by Naruto. And what he didn't realize, Naruto swapped out something very, very easily. There's things that took a lot of focus, but he did it. He used room on Obito's shoe. Simple as that. He swapped out with Obito's shoe and punched him right in the face, full force. Obito gets sent flying through the walls, he lands outside, and barely able to stand with it after taking that punch. And Zetsu was just amazed that he was punched that hard and didn't see a punch coming. But suddenly Naruto will go out to attack him, but Madara already knows the ability. It's a Sharingan. And basically phasing in and out of things. But this was Naruto analyzing how Kakashi's Kamui worked as Kakashi has Kamui. Naruto says basically transferred into a different dimension. Because Naruto basically just examines Obito's power, he actually is able to basically determine that it is just linked to Kamui or a similar thing. As everyone's just watching, which is joining in, Naruto's actually able to substitute himself out. Until Kakashi, it's like Kamui, but he has a theory, so use it. Then Naruto basically ends up charging a giant Rasengan and slams it towards Obito, but Obito faces through it. But suddenly the Rasengan will disappear. Suddenly Obito would get sent flying in a certain direction as he's unconscious. This is confused. He sees Kakashi with with his eye lit up red. But yeah. But yeah, so Obito's taken out by Naruto, and Naruto would walk over to Obito and get a go look at his face. Kakashi couldn't see it previously, but now this cleared up really well. So Naruto is clear this is Obito Uchiha. Then Naruto ends up opening a scroll and then poofing Obito into there. That's one of his seals that he has. So I guess we move on after that to Obito being captured and Zetsu not having anyone to enact the whole thing on. Obito was kept in a scroll, so yeah. But eventually Naruto and everyone was able to create seals, then create seals to actually block out Sharingan. Then when Obito's released, before he can do anything, the seals put right on him, and then, yeah. The seal on him, Obito can't really see anything either way. Even though they only need one of them. But Obito eventually chained down, isn't really released. But he does ask about where's Nagito? I couldn't find him after you guys fought him in Hidden Rain 1. And Naruto then says we hit him in a summoning realm. Sure, Obito then is like, that explains why I couldn't find him, no matter how far around the world I looked. But yeah. With this, Obito eventually does leak everything when he's put under Genjutsu by Naruto without him knowing he's under Genjutsu. And then with that, Naruto is able to basically confirm everyone that they needed to find out where the whole, I guess where Zetsu is. Now, Kisame actually heard Obito rat out, and actually very pissed off, because the one thing he told his master over is ratting, so, yeah. But Kisame walked in holding Samehada as he killed basically every guard in the prison, and proceeds to kill Obito. Kakashi walked in for hearing commotion from the prison, seeing Obito being stabbed to death by Kisame. Before Kisame can turn around and just get angry, his head's kind of calmly right off. So, yeah. Kakashi fell to his knees, basically just depressed. But Naruto happens to be in the summoning realm talking to Nagito. Nagito wanted to see Obito, who he really is, and Naruto brought them both out to, see Obito. But they arrived right in the prison, just to see everyone dead and Kakashi kneeling over Obito's body, with a very depressed and down look. Naruto then suddenly just said, "Renee Rebirth." With that, he then says that if Obito's willing to rat out basically Katsuki because he changed, then I'm willing to change and do something I never thought I'd ever do in my life. With that, he actually ends up using Renee Rebirth and reviving everyone in prison, especially Obito. It was just a really random thing for Obito to do, not for Naruto to do. But suddenly Naruto sent something into the Hidden Leaf prison from the ground up. Before Naruto's body hit the ground, suddenly everyone sees Naruto's hand turn into a blur, and go right to Naruto's face as a hand reached up out of the ground trying to grab Naruto's body. But Naruto's faster and snatched out Naruto's eyes. With that, suddenly grab the hand of Zetsu, throwing Zetsu out of the ground and into a wall. This head face through it, and Zetsu's impressed that Naruto caught him that fast. Makes Zetsu chuckle, and Naruto didn't know what else to do. Instead, he looked down at the body of Obito. Obito got back up, and Naruto is touching Obito's eye and pushing both Rinnegan into him. But since he can't handle both of them, Naruto says, "Now you can." He slaps the chocolate cloak onto Obito. Then touches out Kakashi's Sharingan and puts not touches out Sharingan into the other eyes, putting in the other Sharingan to Obito's, and then puts the chocolate cloak on Obito as well. So not Obito, on Kakashi as well. Leaving Kakashi with 2 Sharingan and Obito with 2 Rinnegan. Now, the chocolate cloak's going to go away pretty soon with how much chocolate they're going to use. But now Kakashi has opened the ability of long distance and short distance Kamui, but Obito also has the great gift of 2 Rinnegan. So with this, he's using both Rinnegan and Zetsu, they're actually able to first Kakashi is able to Kamui him away, but then when she basically just puts himself in the Kamui dimension with Obito. But then they both fight Zetsu in the Kamui dimension, Zetsu not being able to face through anything without falling into nothingness, until Obito would then get lucky punching on, not lucky punch, but get strong punching on Zetsu. But then he eventually would use Shibaku Tensei on him. The Shibaku Tensei being used, this does heal away Zetsu. But then Kakashi would do something else. He would jump up, and then placing explosive tags all over it. This confuses Obito, until he tells Obito, push it into the ground, into nothingness. Obito does just that, pushing it down, and then it all just basically leads to an explosion, basically destroying the Kamui realm with how many tags were on it. But Kakashi able to basically just escape Obito pretty easily. So yeah. But on the turn, the chocolate cloaks are gone, and they both pass out through exhaustion. But Naruto had suddenly put bandages over both their eyes, and Izan then told them that he'll perform a small transplant later on. They nod, and before they pass out, he actually asks, "Did they kill Zetsu?" And Obito puts a thumbs up. Naruto smiles, and we fast forward to after the Shinobi War. Not after the Shinobi War, but after the potential war. But one, Kage isn't revived. Kage never being revived, interesting what happened. Not interesting, actually. No, it's just at least years of peace. In place of the Fourth Great Ninja War, Naruto and Sasuke were training one day. Sasuke was training with his newly acquired Sage Mode. Naruto was training Sasuke with his Sage Mode to teach Sasuke how to obtain it easier. Now with this, eventually, they basically punch each other so hard that they both pass out. And Naruto happened to be in Chakra Cloak, and Sasuke happened to be using a Chakra Cloak aura. With this, they get summoned into the Sage's realm, and they both unlock their new abilities. Naruto 6th chakra, and then Sasuke his whole what was it? Yeah, his Rinnegan. I don't know how I forgot. So with this, Sasuke actually he's learning Rinnegan abilities very early. Then began training Sasuke began training Kakashi with the Sharingan. But then we have Obito. One of his Sharingan basically was supposed to touch himself 24/7, so Kakashi won't go blind in one eye, but will go blind in the other. Until there's basically Hashirama injected into Kakashi, so he won't go blind, and does give him a bit of a chakra boost. Just want to say those 2 things real quick. But Obito's being trained by Sasuke to use Rinnegan, and Konan's in Leaf still. But then we have Itachi train Kakashi to use a Sharingan. But Naruto has one interesting thing happen to him. He gets 2 wives, being Hinata and Karin. But Sasuke would get his own 2 wives, Sakura and Haku. Sakura and Haku are always pretty friendly, and Haku has to admit she thinks Sasuke is decently good looking. So Sasuke would have 2 kids. Pause real quick. Actually, no, I don't need to pause to figure out a kid's name. He would name one kid Fugaku, that one's a boy, and that one is from him and Sakura. After that, he'd have a girl. He'd have a boy Haku, a girl with Sakura. Sakura still gives birth to to Sarada, and then we have Fugaku born to Haku. So yeah. Now with this, Fugaku would inherit Ice Release, And then Sarada would inherit Frost Release, but they both inherit the Sharingan. And coincidentally, Fugaku looks a bit like Fugaku Uchiha, the original one. Naruto ends up having two kids with Karin and Hinata. He has Himawari with Hinata and Boruto with Karin. Which is Boruto would inherit the blonde hair still, but it grows a bit like Minato's. So yeah. So yeah, with this, Boruto is also like a year older. She's not probably not, we're the same age. But Boruto is also best friends with Fugaku and then rival with Sarada. So yeah. Also, both Fugaku and Sarada both went Sharingan at like age 8 with how much training they go through from their parents. So yeah. So we can just go on to probably just Boruto. Well, one, we have Obito there, and Obito wields two Rinnegan. We can only take both at once. Don't think of it like that. But he covers one up. You know, there's like the whole Kakashi headband thing going on. Well, Kakashi just already has a large bunch of chakra, so yeah. So with this, we basically just go on to see like just I guess Kakashi with two Sharingan. But well, we can't turn them off, so he wears a headband 24/7, like not a headband, but he basically just a blindfold. Or does the bandage, the bandages that Gojo wears in Jujutsu Kaisen 0? He wears like those similar headband, those the bandages. So yeah. So with this, we should go on to just Boruto. The main thing is Momoshiki and Kinshiki. One different thing is the person who travels with Sasuke all around is actually, well, Itachi and Obito. Obito has two Rinnegan that are really strong. So yeah. When it came to Kinshiki, Obito just fights against Kinshiki himself alongside Itachi, while Sasuke would fight Momoshiki. Sasuke, like before, is a sage this time, because he needs to power up in his own way to catch up to Naruto. And he chose Sage Mode. But then also learning every single technique Orochimaru had to offer. So with this, Sasuke began fighting. Oh yeah, Sasuke, by the way, still has his curse mark. He didn't lose it. He keeps it. Because Orochimaru's still about his neck, but Orochimaru's in prison, but also on life support 24/7. He was eventually like let go after like once he was like fully healed. Not fully healed, but once he's able to basically live on his own. The only difference is he can't use his arms anymore. But he's still able to create Mitsuki. Or Mitsuki, but yeah, I don't care. So Sasuke basically just goes into sage mode, like the cloak and everything, and fights against Momoshiki, but then mixes in his Rinnegan abilities. But Obito and Itachi combined are both able to defeat Kinshiki. And then, well, they run the fight against Momoshiki with Sasuke, and this she does lead to like an almighty push being launched from Momoshiki, seeing him flying back. But then Amaterasu is launched on his arms. Usually he tries to absorb it. Amaterasu is controlled by Sasuke, and basically we see Itachi just throws in like a Chidori that he learned from Kakashi. So it's basically just a Chidori spear. And with that, it charges right through the Chidori with Sasuke controlling it, and Amaterasu hits Momoshiki right in the face. As Momoshiki tries to absorb it, well, he tries to absorb it with his one hand. Suddenly his other arm is torn off by Obito, and he gets a Chidori through the back from Sasuke. But then all three of them can use Chidori, all variants of it. So basically, Momoshiki's getting a Chidori party with how much he's getting pierced through the chest with it. Eventually, he's just done with holes cut throughout his whole body, and just falls to the ground dead. So they won. So with that, well, there's no Boruto getting a Karma Seal. He doesn't need to if he's the son of two Uzumaki. By the way, the whole Toneri thing didn't happen. The moment the Naruto puppets, he immediately just did room and summoned back Hanabi, replacing one of the puppets that was last to leave, and then just killed all the puppets immediately. But then when it came to the moon being really close, two Rinnegan users can simply just go like they both can use Susanoo, and I think Susanoo can use Ninjutsu. Pretty sure just the good old like just them heading to the moon can still work, and if they can, Almighty push it. So yeah, so Toneri was just beaten up by Obito and Sasuke. But yeah. So he also doesn't have the 6 blast chakra, which doesn't it doesn't matter either way. I don't care. So we should go on to Jigen. So Naruto and Sasuke fight Jigen for the first time. Well, none of them when they're like that random dimension. Well, Jigen thinks it's just those two, until another portal would open above them and drops down a few dozen people. Jiraiya, Tsunade, Hiruzen, who's still pretty old but can still throw hands, and then alongside him Itachi and Obito. Obito's the one who made the portal. Then basically just Kawaki. It's just Kawaki and Boruto with them as well. Just basically we'll go on a 12 crew. Obito, Kakashi, Itachi, Hiruzen, 2 Sannin, and yeah. With that, these all of them team on Jigen. Then Jigen tries to leave. Well, he is almighty pulled by Sasuke. That's like his last sense of power that he had in him. When he's almighty pulled, he is hit by one gigantic Rasengan. And it's between just like Naruto, Kakashi, Boruto, and Jiraiya. As he gets hit by it, he's sent flying through the air, but then suddenly his arm is convoyed away. This confuses him until he looks down at Kakashi, who has his blindfold lifted up. As he goes to Kakashi, suddenly he faces right through Kakashi, but then Kakashi would grab Jigen and disappear. Kakashi reappeared not long after, but the difference is he's covered in bruises. And Jigen, I don't believe Jigen can travel dimensions. I don't believe he can. Can he? Let me check. Okay, he can. I forgot. But Jigen would walk through the portal, just panting, questioning where he was. And Kakashi says that's his own pocket dimension. Why? And with that, Jigen then just dashes at Kakashi, saying, "You're troublesome." But Kakashi has resurrected faster. He reacts to Naruto in Sage Mode and then KCM for training. So he just faces through Jigen and then hits him in the back of the head full force. As Jigen plummeting to the ground, he's about to be punched by Naruto, so he just shrinks himself. Suddenly he's grabbed by Jiraiya. He tries to force open Jiraiya's hands. Naruto then suddenly uses KCM arms as Jiraiya lets go, slamming down onto, Jigen. Naruto would immediately begin squeezing as hard as he can, until Sasuke would put his hands on Naruto's back, and Naruto then gets powered up by Snake Sage as well. With so much force, Jigen can't really escape. He keeps shrinking himself, but it doesn't work. It doesn't shrink. He can't shrink anymore. And he's already used up too much chakra to even travel away anymore. Suddenly, with this much power, Jigen is suddenly crushed by Naruto and Sasuke teamed up, with Naruto getting more power than everyone else. Not everyone else, but basically everyone else it is. So yeah. So with this, Naruto is basically able to defeat Jigen by killing him and crushing him like a bug. With that, Naruto ends up picking up Sasuke, who just passed out officially, and then Obito opens another portal, saying they have 10 seconds all to jump through. So as they jump through, they all head back, and Kakashi says he'll stay behind so the portal doesn't get held back. And he says he'll wait like an hour for Sasuke to get back up. So yeah, he waits that hour. The portal opens. He's pulled back in by a giant KCM arm, and yeah. But with this kind of ends the series. Even if Code wanted to come back, well, Jigen's dead, and he can take over Kawaki's body, but Kawaki's karma goes away because he's dead. So it doesn't really matter. And Code wanted to come back, he'd have smoke with a lot of powerful shinobi. It's like too many powerful ones. Code does still start pull up the smoke, but he's just destroyed again, like same way Jigen was. The same combo. Jigen's killed by that. Not combos. The same just group of people that gang, like I was gonna say something else. Same group of people that basically just gang assaulted him. Yeah, so Code's destroyed, then the whole Kara base is destroyed, and this basically just ends this what if. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe for more. Adios.